Madig, who is a winner of this tournament, who's been ill and getting treatment, and thank God is getting much better.
Get well, Carter.
Yeah, and Toby, you had another friend that you want to give some respect to that you mentioned.
Yeah, Gérard Urus, actually the guy who was with Ian Razou when Ian Razou had this terrible accident here in Cyprus and died. Gérard died at the end of last year. And he was a great character, and everybody in France and in Switzerland knows him very well, and a lot of people are missing him.
Okay, this tournament had 220 entrants in the championship division. So it's no small feat here to get to the finals, and this is one of the most prestigious events in the world to win. Obviously, Monte Carlo, the World Championship, and
I don't want to forget Andrei Nestroy, who just died a couple of weeks ago and is very, very missed. There was a contribution tournament for his wife, who's a widow now, and he's originally from the Ukraine, and he just died in a horrible accident.
What a shame.
Yeah.
So I was at a show in a rest home with my mother not a few years ago, and the entertainer was a very nice lady, and she said, by the way, I want to tell everybody, I'm single, I'm divorced, but I never wanted to be divorced. I had no intention of being divorced. I wanted to be a widow. That was just a great line. Okay, we're going to watch your comments, too, if you have any questions. Let's see, it says, change the video you are showing now, which is the 9th Merit Open, to something from this tournament. Yeah, this should be the 10th Merit Open, and I'm not sure where it says the 9th, but thank you for your comments. We'll look for that. All right, any questions, comments, problems, post them. You can text me, and we'll do our best 17-point match. Mochi is maybe joining us later. He's playing in the finals of the Mega Jackpot, which is started a little earlier, and he may be done and join us towards the end of this. I attended his quiz last night. He had 8 very, very difficult problems that he had actually missed himself. They were all Mochi blunders, and it was very interesting. As a quiz, one person got 7 right. Amir Shregi from Iran, who we all know is a top player, but that's pretty amazing that he got 7 right. It was the highest in the whole room. 3 people tied with 6 right. One of them was Thomas Tenlin. I really honestly don't know who the other 2 were. And I had a copy of the quiz. I got 3 right. I mean, it's really a very tough quiz, very interesting. Okay, we're starting. Timur is in red on top, and Jürgen is white on the bottom. And we'll go from here.
You see a picture on the left of the room where they are playing, and you see on the chair is the referee, John Broomfield from England.
I think every good match should have a referee, mostly more like a monitor really than a referee. Make sure that the moves are proper, the score is kept right, the clock is maintained, and make sure that the players are doing everything proper. I don't think there's any problem with these 2 players being proper, but what happens if you're playing with some guy who doesn't move the checkers properly or shuffles them wrong or doesn't roll properly? Instead of having to police each other, I think there should be a monitor, especially when there's a lot of money and prestige at stake. So I like this idea very much.
These both are absolutely gentlemen, and they know each other for a long time. So this will be a high-class match with great behavior, I'm sure.
Yeah, but if I was playing you, Toby, and you looked the other way, I don't know what I might do. I might have some fun with you. All right, double hit. I like double hits. They're fun. And a big, big, big dance, and with 2 checkers up and the 5 slotted, but the 3 back would stop me from doubling. What do you think, Toby?
This could very well be a double, actually. Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. But
there are 9 checkers in the zone. The 5-point is almost made. There are still 2 checkers up. The best anchor is slotted. I think this is a very strong forward position.
Would you take?
Absolutely, of course. The take is
he did. All right, Jürgen agreed with me. Yeah. He didn't double, and I agree with this. I would not have doubled that. 6-5. I like this play. I think making the 3-point, well, you're blitzing,
The-
3-point
the
might
th-
work.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's very important to make an inboard point while the opponent has checkers on the bar. One very interesting thing, it's not just an additional point. Your board strength is basically quadrupled. Right now, he has one dancing number, he showed it before, but once you made the second point, he has 4 dancing numbers. So this is the biggest increase of board strength, actually, making the second point.
I never thought of it that way. I think, what the heck, he's not gonna dance with 4 or 1, but you're right, it triples the chances.
Yeah.
And, okay, he's in with both checkers.
So I would say in this sequence, clearly Timur won, and if
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't a double before, it's clearly not a double now.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't like the double.
Clearly not a double now, yeah.
Cube ownership, cube vig is just a very big thing. So you don't double unless you feel you're likely to lose your market or you feel he's gonna pass. That's why I like Woolsey's loss so much. And Toby and I did agree on one thing. We agreed it was a take. This anchor is very important for Timur. That was a big, big roll.
Once again, 6-4 was not a great roll. Anchoring is a solid win for Timur's position. So this sequence again goes to Timur. 5 new starting a new sequence, and Jürgen makes 2 points, which is pretty strong, yeah. And this sequence goes now for Jürgen. It's always important to think that way because you want to use a double when you're a favorite, and you always have to keep track what's going on.
Somebody just asked, who are the final match commentators? Phil Simborg with the normal speech, and Tobias Hellwig, who's talking funny like a German.
Here's a friend from Germany also in the chat, Jürgen Kunkel. Hello, Jürgen. So, what about this, Phil?
I'm doubling,
Now you are.
yes. I see 30-something numbers that hit, and I don't like being hit if I'm him, and he does hit.
Yeah, so one thing you should instantly know, if you can hit from 3 angles, like a triple shot, it's 27 shots for sure, yeah?
Plus.
Plus, there might be additional, like 1-4 is additional, so it's 29 shots. And it's not so easy for Timur to improve his position.
Yeah, I would have doubled there. The only reason not to double is if you think you might be too good. With that anchor, I didn't think so.
Yeah,
Okay, here comes the cube.
Now
One roll
he-
later than I would have.
actually now he could have been too good. Now he could have been too good, yeah.
Big pass.
Yeah.
The roll before, it might have been a take. I wasn't sure.
And it might have been technically too good now.
Yeah. By too good, Toby means that there just might be too many gammons to just cash and take 1 point. And you're always comparing how many gammons you might win compared to how many games you might lose.
And technically too good means like you're not winning so many gammons, but you can always use the cube to end the game. Yeah, this is like a technically too good. So you're basically free rolling on too good.
Yeah, and every roll you can decide again whether you're still too good or should cash. By the way, I failed to mention that one of the reasons Tobias is sitting here is he lost in the finals of the fighters bracket to Timur last night. And Toby, congratulations, you took 3rd place in this tournament last night. I know you were very disappointed to take 3rd place, but like I said at the beginning of the tournament, if somebody said you're going to go here and take 3rd place, you'd have been very happy. It's still a huge honor and a very, very big win. It's better than taking 1st place in a lot of tournaments. So congratulations, Toby, for taking third.
Yeah, thank you for the congratulations. Yesterday, after losing for the final, I really wasn't happy, and I wouldn't be happy for congratulations to third. But now I am.
Yeah, the loser of this match in the finals is not going to be happy either. But think about coming in second. That's pretty darn good in one of the biggest tournaments in the world, making a lot of money.
Basically, the second, being second, they already won yesterday, and Jürgen won it already Friday. So there's no need to congratulate right afterwards. But after like a couple of hours, when it's settled, you're very, very happy with each result. Yeah.
I've been there myself. I've been third, I've been second, and I've been first. And you know what? First is better.
I'm not going to challenge you on this one.
We finally found something we agree about.
Yeah.
Well, you've been first a few times. I remember, wasn't it New York where you beat Victor in the finals of the Masters?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I beat Victor in the final.
Maybe it was the semifinals. And I remember
that's possible. That was in Washington.
in Washington. Okay,
Washington,
I remember
the semifinal.
you
I lost
beating
in the
Victor.
final to Joe Russell.
Okay, I remember you beating Victor. I walked up and congratulated you, and Alia, Victor's wife, came looking over to me and says, "How dare you!" She was so mad that Victor lost.
Yeah.
That I would actually congratulate you. But Victor was congratulating you. She just didn't understand.
Yeah.
We're all friends here. And I was very good friends with Victor and Alia, too. I would have congratulated him right away if he'd have won. That's a big roll, and that seems like the right play. What's that saying? If you can make the 5 point, find a very good reason not to or do it.
Well, a good reason not to make the 5 point would have been if you had like a fourth man on the 6, so you could make 2 points and hit. Yeah, that would have been a good reason not to make the 5 point. But like the position is, I think he found the best play here, Jürgen.
Chris Bray, did I notice that Timur's first move in the match was a big error?
Actually, we didn't. I think we were busy talking already.
Yeah.
So thanks for letting us know, Chris.
Chris, tell us what that error was.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what it was, Chris. I highly respect your opinion and your knowledge of the game. You're a great author and great teacher. Okay, we have a cube here. And I like this cube. I think it's a take.
So he's up in the race, he's up in the position, he has a lot of threats. It's gammonishing.
Yeah, it sounds like a take to me. He passed, okay.
Yeah,
One reason you pass at this score, losing an extra point doesn't mean much, but losing a gammon would mean a lot. It up with a 6-4 split opening, maybe 6-4 split's not bad. That's not. I wouldn't call that an error at all. I think there's 3 ways to play a 6-4, and they're all right. Now there's certainly.
I think he means a response 6-4.
Oh, the response 6-4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me check on the video.
Timur does not have to win twice, by the way. He only has to win once.
Yeah.
What happens is that they gave Jürgen an extra $5,000. We did the same thing in Monte Carlo. It's a single win. It makes the game much more exciting. And they just give an extra money to the undefeated player. But whoever wins this single match wins the championship, which is exactly what happened in Monte Carlo as well. And I really think this is fair, because if you think about it, Timur had to win 9 matches to get here. I think Jürgen had to win 7 matches to get here. I may be wrong, but he didn't have to win as many, even though Timur lost once.
It looks like they're checking a position.
No, he's playing with the double threes back and forth.
Ah, okay. Ah, and I see. And he's He's putting it only halfway to the triangle to.
Which is the way it should be, so you know which checkers were moved. You
I
should.
agree. I like this, and I think in Russia, by the way, it's mandatory if I get it right.
It's mandatory now in the United States. I actually came up with the rule when I was rules chairman for the USBGF, and the way I wrote it is if you don't do that, you can't move the checkers back. You lose your right to move them back and forth. So there's no question of which ones you moved. It's a great habit to get into just for yourself. We all get mixed up, and it can happen to anybody. Ah, 4-1 split, 2-2 hit. Rayner said, okay, after a 4-1 split, the proper play with the 2-2 is to make 2 points. You always make your 4 point, and then with the second twos, you usually make the
11.
The 11, unless your opponent has made a point, like the 5 point or the 4 point, then you would make the 22 point. And it's, you know, these opening moves, even though the difference might be 2 or 3%, it's important because they come up so much. Ah, we have another cube. He has 5s to hit and 5s to cover. That's something that's a little bit helpful to.
Yeah, it's a duplication of his good rolls, but his position is already very strong. Like board-wise, Jürgen has a 3.5 point board. He has a 4th point already slotted, and Timo also only achieved to make a bar point. So in a hitting contest, he doesn't look too good.
How would you play a 4-1 here? Do you cover or hit?
I cover.
Oh, look at this. 4-1. Let's
Yeah.
see. You cover.
Yeah, that's my prediction.
I might hit. You're a coverer, I'm a hitter. I'll bet you $1 it's right to hit.
Okay, of course. I'm taking this bet.
I'm taking this picture.
I need any dollar I can get.
You're not going to get this $1. First of all, I might stiff you if I lose. But I took a picture of it, and we're gonna put this in, please. If you got XG, because I'm not sure of this play, but I'm sure I want to bet because I'll remember it better. Well, Jürgen agrees with me. Oh, maybe not.
Jürgen is a little bit like Mochi. He's just setting up things on and on.
Yeah, he hit.
Oh, and now he
He hit.
He does
I
hit.
like the hit. That was my play. He never should have hit. What a dumb thing to do to hit there. Look what happened. Switching. You're often switching when you're blitzing.
And actually, also lack of alternative. This is a way to do it. Yeah, only do what's first. Enter with 1, not step forward right away. Then switch. Yeah, and maybe it's now the bar point is less important. Maybe it is important to just have more hitting numbers, more pointing numbers.
But I think
But you
using the
decide
process that you're describing,
Yeah.
where you always do the part you know you're going to do and then look around, that is so important. We saw yesterday in a couple of matches that where players really blew it. In fact, Teamwork blew a major play because he automatically brought 2 to make a point when it was clearly wrong to do that. But it was a knee-jerk reaction he should never have done. Teamer can learn something from watching Jürgen. 6 is forced by logic. By the way, I like the double in the take. I like the take. I like this play also. You're blitzing blitz. That's your game plan. You made the 2 point. You got 3 checkers on the ace. The opponent is really bad. That is a horrible place to be. Do you hit twice, or what do you do here?
So what is the other candidate if not hitting twice? The other candidate would be maybe hit and slot, or it would be from the midpoint to the bar and slot the 5. So I think double hit is probably the safest play, and he would try to take the initiative away, to gain a little bit of time to do something, and double hit might do the job, to help him best.
So the answer is yes, you would have double hit?
I need more time for those plays. I need, this is,
Okay.
if I'm playing this position, this would one of the plays I would look. I spend more time to look in.
Uh-huh. I don't like this play. It's blotty. You can hit with you can roll a 3-1 or a 3-4 or a 3-5 in cover. It's a lot of blots.
But blots are protecting blots. So whenever he hits, he's also spreading blots. So basically for Timur, the hits are poisoned. Yeah, it's very difficult to hit in a gentle way. Like double one would be a great hit. Yeah, but double one is never a bad roll. So
Never say never.
I see the merits of Jürgen's move because he's gaining more field control, and since very important is here for this position to understand this move and to understand this position, the midpoint is stripped. So whenever he's hitting from the midpoint, he leaves two blots. Yeah. And that's very, very dangerous against such a strong board as Jürgen has.
As we saw, he could have hit just then, and he didn't for that reason.
Yeah.
It was too dangerous to hit. So leaving all those blots wasn't so dangerous at all.
Right.
And he does want contact. He's got the far superior inner board. He wants action.
But still, what we see here, maybe it would have been still a better move to make the 21 point instead of staying back on the 23 and spreading those blots. Yeah, if you just look for the recent development, I think Timur rolled a good roll, but not highly above average, and Orlovsky didn't really help his position by his choice of double twos.
I'm not sure I would cover the ace. I don't like getting hit, but I sure don't like that. Sure don't like the way this board looks.
Yeah.
I would almost rather get hit and recirculate than do that.
You're just happy not to be on the bar. You're just happy not
So
to be
you
on
would have
the
made the
bar.
1 point, huh?
That's my tendency. That's my
Okay.
tendency.
Well, that's modern backgammon. You make the 1 point. Chris Bray said the hit was correct, according to XG, and I honestly wasn't sure, but I was hitting. Thank you, Chris. We love to know what XG thinks, especially when it agrees with us.
That's one of the most horrible numbers he could have rolled.
Yep. Leaves a shot and takes him way too much forward. I'm slotting here. And he does. I don't want to throw checkers away, and I think this is a great time to slot. Nope. I'm not that afraid of getting hit. Come on, slot the 4 point.
Well, on the other hand, if something good happens for Timur, it will happen now. Yeah. So this is a tendency to wait. To wait one sequence, because after this sequence, what can happen good to Timur?
Well, conversely, Timur, he has the blot on the 5 that might not be their next roll. That's another reason to slot now. This is all forced.
Mm-hmm.
I like to slot a lot.
Slot a lot.
Slot a lot. I like to slot a lot.
Slot a lot.
This is a great roll,
Yeah.
and this is why you slot.
A lot.
Part of the reason I slotted was again the blot on Timur's inner board on the 5 point. Okay, this is going to be a matter of whether or not he wins 2 points or not. Right now, he's not favored unless he gets another checker. There's 35% gammons with 3 checkers on the ace after you bring all your checkers in, if you don't get another checker. Now, because Timur's board is pretty bad and it's probably going to crash even more, he maybe get up to as many as 50% gammons, but not a whole lot more. Until you hit another checker.
Yeah, there are more gammons in the room now.
Yeah. Now there are with that blot. But even with 4 checkers on the ace and a perfect bear off, that's 50% gammons.
Most horrible number, by the way. I really don't wish it for Timur, would be 4-5 now. Yeah. This is one thing you should be always focus on. Look at backgammon, watch out for possible developments, and to understand possible developments better, look what would be your worst rolls, what would be your best rolls, you know, to get a feel for what you have to look for. Understand these dynamics better.
Well, that's why I play Bouzouki in games where you get to call your roll or your opponent's roll. You start thinking, what's a good roll? And how good is it? What's a bad roll? And how bad is it? Liar's backgammon, you have the same options. And people laugh at these variations. They are fun, but they actually do help your normal backgammon games as well. Somebody said it's the worst 6-6 I've ever seen. No, the worst 6-6 I've ever seen cost me a hell of a lot of money in a shoeette once. So Mel Brooks said that comedy is when you fall down the stairs and break your leg. Tragedy is when I cut my finger. So it can't be the worst 6-6 unless it happened to me. But it was a bad 6-6. We'll agree with that. The other reason it's not the worst is because the score is 2-0. At double match point, that would be a disgusting 6-6.
Good insight from Chris. Chris says slot was a small error. You remember the 3-5?
Yeah, Chris, I don't need your help.
Thank you, Chris.
I actually did remember doing commentary with Chris at a major tournament. I'm not sure which one it was. And he was spectacular. His insights into the game are really terrific. It's another nice way of saying he knows more than me. Rainer, I agree with you. I think it's more fun and more interesting and insightful not to have XG. If the XG feed is there, I'm going to be right every time, and I can make up reasons that XG says it's right, and you really aren't using your brain much. I like this play.
So the downside of this play, is there any downside?
That's why I like this play.
6.
This has a downside 6-5. Of course, if you go to the 4-point, there's no downsides there except that you don't get a checker off.
So repeating what we said yesterday, playing positions pure, this position is a bear off, and usually it's right to bear off in a bear off position. Yeah.
The reason I think it's right to take a checker off is if you do leave a shot later, you'll still win. And if you leave a shot and don't get hit, or you don't leave a shot, you'll win more gammons by taking checkers off. I really would never take 2 off the 6 here, though. I might take 1 off the 6 to the 4 and play 3-2. I really don't like that play at all. It's preparing to clear the 6, and I wouldn't be that anxious to clear
One
it.
thing we will see in Jürgen's plays is that he is very often taking a long time for technical moves because he feels like these moves he can figure out exactly, so he's willing to sacrifice more time.
I see.
While at the moment he thinks he's just guessing, his tendency is to play it a little bit faster.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I do that so people won't notice.
Yeah.
Well, the other thinking here is he thinks he probably has the gammon in the bag, which is wrong. 1 big double or 2 big doubles by Timur, and he gets off this gammon. Ooh. Now his gammons are looking very, very solid.
What would you think, like 80%?
Yeah. Unless he gets a shot and hits it, that's part of the 20% where he doesn't get gammon. Running off this gammon is not likely.
Yeah, but he also has to pay attention of the BG, and this is what he thinks now. Yeah, what happens with when Jürgen rolls 2 doubles? He doesn't want to leave his ace point too late.
Yeah, and that was a good play for that reason. Conceding the gammon maybe, but you want to make sure you don't get backgammon and lose 3 points. Times 3, I mean 6 points.
He's using a good technique.
Now you should run. With 4
Maximizing
checkers, you
his-
should run.
Yeah.
Give up the game completely, give up the gammon, and don't get backgammon.
Yeah.
If there was an odd number of checkers left, it's a different story, you'd stay. he can still get off this gammon, and he can still get off this gammon because double sixes would do it if he brings another checker into the quadrant.
Unless yeah.
So he can get off with double sixes, 3 checkers in and
Yeah.
1 off.
Unless he makes no crossover,
Yeah.
he always has a double six. Yeah.
Right.
No matter how he plays, it narrows down to double six.
Double sixes at, oh, very close to a double six.
Yeah.
All right, that's a big, big game to win 4 points for Jurgen, even though it's early in the match. Taking this kind of a lead is, especially if you play with the scoreboard that way and go to 9 instead of 6.
Yeah, and it also does something to the opponent, you know. You feel a little bit, you start to feel the fear of losing. You realize it, you start to realize it, you know, how it can go. Yeah. And of course, it's very hard to liberate your mind from your emotions. It's very hard when you see bad things happen to you, you know, that it doesn't affect it doesn't affect your moves.
Yeah, for one thing, you start thinking, oh, the dice are not in my favor, and you start changing your moves, thinking you're going to roll bad, or thinking he's going to roll better, which is always going to hurt your game if you do make those kinds of changes. Okay, they're taking a break.
And I think this is a very good tactical break from Timur. He lost like 3 games in a row, steering into fantastic numbers of Jürgen. And it's a good time just to get out of the room,
Yeah.
get a little bit fresh water in the face, and come back with new spirit.
Do you remember the cube action? Would you have taken that cube? I would have. I agree with the take. It certainly did not turn out well. But,
Yeah, I think I already read in the chat it was a take.
oh, okay. I didn't read that.
I
Good.
don't want to.
Oh, yeah, I see it there. Dennis. Dennis said
anything,
double
yeah.
take. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I love your help we're getting in the chat. If we did have a live XG feed, there's something about it. I do like parts of it. What I'd like to see is the XG feed be delayed. I'd like to take a look at the play, say what we think, see the play, and then later have the XG come up. So, which is really basically what's happening when the people chatting tell us what XG said. But I hate to see XG come up ahead of time and spoil the fun for give, you know, so we always look smart. I want to look stupid once in a while, right? More than once in a while, I'll admit it. But I also I think for the audience too, let's all wonder what's right for a while instead of, otherwise we may as well just play XG. The other thing is XG has never won a tournament, and XG is not always right about how to play an opponent, particularly in the cube. There are many times it's right or wrong to double because of your opponent or the scorer that XG does not recognize because it just assumes the other player is always going to play perfectly. And anybody who has ever played live knows that even Mochi doesn't always play perfectly. It just doesn't happen. Okay, we got a little break here, and I'm going to take a little break too.
Yeah, we again have a look in the frame on the left. There's a monitor in the room where the players are sitting, and every player is allowed to bring a friend to watch the game there, just for the atmosphere. And Jürgen is there in the room together with Jan Jakobovic, who's also a close friend of mine. He's sitting on a high chair.
He sounds German.
yeah.
Sounds like a German guy.
Like Jürgen Orlowski
Yeah.
or Tobias Hellwag.
Yeah. Orlowski sounds Polish, isn't it? I mean, the ski is a Polish name usually. Orlowski, Kaminski.
Yes.
But he spells it with an I, not a Y.
So Germany has like borders to 9 different countries. So there's a lot of mixing going around, you know.
9 countries.
9 countries.
Name them.
Yeah. Okay, it's Austria, it's Switzerland, it's France, it's Luxembourg, it's Belgium, it's the Netherlands, it's Denmark, it's Poland, it's Czechoslovakia, it's Czech. Yeah.
Czech Republic.
Yeah,
That's 9 countries.
there's 9 countries,
Wow,
right?
that's good.
Yeah.
See, I'm in the United States, and I can name all the countries that we border to. 2.
Yeah.
Canada and Mexico. Makes
Yeah.
it very easy. That's true. Alaska really does border Russia with the Aleutian Islands.
Yeah.
Mate pointed that out. And while we're speaking of Mate, I don't want to forget to mention this stream is compliments of a lot of tremendous amount of work in the background by Mate, setting up the cameras, taking care of the technical issues with all the filming cameras, computers, and so on. And because he gets bored doing that, in the meantime, he does a taping of dozens of people's matches and does the transcription and gets them back real quick. He's got a whole team working for him. When I first started recording my mountain matches, the first guy that I went to transcribe them was Mate, because I hate transcribing. To me, it's terribly laborious, and I was happy to pay Mate what were you charging, the $200 a match to transcribe them? Something like that. I was happy to pay him. His prices come way down, but he's a great guy to use, and if you don't know how to reach Mate on Facebook or social media, contact me. My email is phil@simb.org, SIMB.org. It's my name. So it's real easy to remember. I'll answer any questions or help you connect. I get emails all the time. Where can I take lessons? Where can I play live in my area? When's the next tournament? How do I find out about how to use XG? I mean, I can't, or just, can you give me so-and-so's contact information? How do I reach Carol Cole to buy parts or to buy supplies? So I can help you with anything, and I'm happy to do it.
Talking about the next tournament Mate will do the stream is in the Solange Open in Austria. It's in 2 weeks. It's near Graz. It's an added tournament. It's supported by the Austrian Backgammon Federation, and I hope to see many of you there.
I wish I could be there. I have to be in New York, and that's the next place I'm going to see you, Toby. We're both going to be at the New York Metro Open, which is the largest tournament in the United States, January 3rd or 4th, depending on whether you're get into the BMAB or not. And it's in a gorgeous hotel, the Hyatt Regency in Newark, overlooking New York. And in about 3 minutes, you get on this train and you go onto the Hudson River, and you're right in the heart of the. In fact, you're at the World Trade Center in about 3 minutes. It's just a fantastic.
You can also
event.
take the boat, by the way.
Yeah, the ferry is supposed to be
Yeah.
a lot of fun. Yeah.
The last time I've been to New York, we often took the ferry. I went there with a friend from Berlin, Ralf Jonas and Bernhard Winkelhaus, and a couple of times we took the ferry to get over to Manhattan.
I've been there probably a dozen times and never once took the ferry. Why don't you invite me?
You should. I will.
You see the Statue of Liberty from the ferry, don't you? And you're not close to it, but you can see
That's a
it.
different ferry. Actually, if you just keep on walking at the Hyatt, you're getting very close to the Statue of Liberty also.
Wow. I love New York. I live in Florida. I'm spending about half my time in New York, and I hope to spend more in the future. I just love that city, but the backgammon scene in New York is so much fun. There's so much action there.
And the city is so vivid. I mean, it has a very special atmosphere.
Absolutely. It's a city that never sleeps. The only other city that seems as exciting to me is Tokyo, to just be walking around. And I hope to go to Tokyo in May. I've been to that tournament a few times, and I love the people in the tournament there.
And the food.
And the food. And my other two favorite places are Istanbul and Jamaica. Those are two other places I go to consistently. But I've got a bucket list, and it includes Copenhagen. I've never made it there, and I understand the Nordic Open is amazing, and I hear it's really nice to go there in the wintertime if you don't go outside. You're looking at the chat, you can see Jürgen Orlowski, very animated. That's typical for him. I think he sleeps that way.
And that's also interesting. For example, if I play a match, I really prefer to have silence in the room, you know, and
you wear headphones. You put headphones
to
on.
be locked up in my thoughts. And Jürgen is the opposite. He never hesitates to talk, argue, explain his thoughts.
Yep. All right, John, let's get this going, but I think he needs an opponent before they start. I prefer that way. Timur's taking a little bit longer.
We got a good remark from Rainer. Hi, Rainer. I think you're absolutely right. This is the custom how it used to be. Yeah. In that special case, everybody in the room knows each other, and maybe I wouldn't see a problem here in the particular mixture. But in general, you're absolutely right. The supporters should sit behind the player they support.
For those who can't see the chat, what Toby's talking about is where you have your friend sit.
Yeah.
You want to sit where he couldn't possibly signal you by raising his eyebrows if he's surprised about you're thinking about cubing or making a move.
Yeah.
In our Chicago Chouette, we have a rule that no matter whose side Herb Roman is on, he has to sit behind the player. He cannot help but go nuts if he sees his partner making a move he doesn't like. So Herb is not allowed to be opposite the player no matter what. That's our only rule. We have one other rule. If you're caught cheating or doing anything unethical, you have to sit out for one round. We're very, very strict about ethics in Chicago. All right, they're back at the table, ready to start. Okay, Toby, do you change your strategy in any way at this score if you're losing or winning?
In tendencies. I mean, a little bit more earlier, maybe, if there are gammons involved, but not dramatically. This is there's still 11 points to go for Jürgen, so there's really no reason to freak out. But there's a tendency. Yeah. Eileen, right. The final was against Raj. Thank you for remembering.
If that was the tournament, I'm sure that where you beat Victor Ashkenazi in the semis.
No, this was in Washington.
Oh, in Washington, okay.
Yeah, when I
okay.
lost to Joe Russell later.
I got you.
Yeah. So let's pay attention again to the moves.
Oh, no, that's not important. What's important is what you've won and what I've won. Yeah. We're not talking too much about what I've won, but there's a reason for that. 6-2.
For Timur.
I come out and, whoa. Come out and
Wait
make
a
the
second.
11? I come out and make the 11, I guess. This is not fun. I like making the 11 point, but
You could also come out and go to the 8, but I mean,
makes my play.
naturally you want to make a point, right? There's a duplication of sixes. I understand the merits. I like the move.
down and hit. Down and hit, I think.
So, yeah.
I mean, I just can't find.
So hit must be clear. There's no alternative to the hit. And I don't see any better constructive four than going 39. Yeah.
Hard to find an alternative.
Yeah.
Every checker play is only right or
And Jürgen
best.
was really looking for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
He couldn't.
Sometimes the ugly play is the least ugly play.
Yeah. It was not really ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when he's seen also what happened to Timur in the previous games. He can't complain about a 4-1 when he hits a checker. That's not an ugly move. For 5.
Hit in safety the checker on the
Like
18.
this is the best start for Timur. This is the best start for Timur so far in a game. Yeah.
And it ain't that good.
Yeah, but it should make him aware. It should make him aware. He's on the positive side of equity, and he wants to make sure to maximize his winnings. Yeah. So he is thinking now, and if he's not doubling, which I think he will not, he will at least figure out at what point he wants to double. Yeah. You can prepare, even if you're not doubling, you look at the development you're looking for, and for the right moment to turn the cube.
Well, the one thing I know is I'm taking. Again, I use Woolsey's law, and I don't see that many market losers, so I agree with the roll here.
One thing to mention, all the outfield points from Jürgen are stripped, so it means if he cannot move from the back, it means he's leaving more blots. This is another aspect of the position.
Mm-hmm. Which speaks more in favor of Timur's position.
More in favor of Timur's position.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah. So now this sequence was clearly for Jürgen. So if he wasn't doubling earlier, so this was not a double now.
This is not an easy 6 to play. It's a very ugly 6, but I think I go to the 5 point. That's the least painful blot and the point to give up. And he agreed.
Also, when you control everything, you don't want that many swings. And if he leaves the anchor, that would be a lot of swings. He can't leave a double shot. He can't. So, forced by logic, I agree with you.
Yeah, look how this game is almost evened up. It was a very good no double, but I like that he thought about it. And you wouldn't have thought about it unless you were losing 6-0.
Timo is still faster. He has twice as many infield points. He holds the better points. So still advantages for him, but no market losers in sight. No market losing sequences in sight.
I come in and slot the 4 here. I come in from the 11 and slot the 4.
You could also go to the bar.
You could.
Slotting is like slotting makes you like committed to spend a half roll with covering while you want to do something else. Red side is a little bit faster, so he wants to run and he wants to run with a single spare. Also, since there's no additional man on Orlovsky's midpoint, it's very hard for him to hit. He can't hit from the 8, he can't hit from the midpoint. So going to the bar was actually a good move, I think.
It was a move I would not have made. And the reason I would have slotted was to unstack a little bit my 6 point, but your reasoning makes a lot of sense. You're smarter than you look, Toby.
Thank you, thank you.
It was very well said, very well reasoned, and you actually changed my opinion. I hope you were right.
And they look a lot smarter without an XG feed.
Right, right. Well, the XG feed might make you very stupid.
Yeah.
STOOPID.
So anyhow, good arguments never vanish just because XG says something different. It only means like there are good, better arguments for another play. Yeah.
Wonderful way to look at it. Very good rationalization. And I like good rationalizations. Like when I said you look so fat, I didn't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, that's once a girlfriend said to me, "Hey, you gotten fat, but it suits you."
What a tactful person.
Yeah, what a tactful person.
I got to remember that line.
Yeah.
You're an idiot, but it suits you.
Yeah. The dumb look in your face is so charming.
Boy, this is going to change my whole repertoire.
Yeah, so back to the game.
They're playing, yeah.
We had a lot of changes here, actually. Yeah. And
I like this hit. He's got 3 checkers back.
the old artificial intelligence in backgammon, Snowy would have said cube hot position. I like this term a lot. This is a cube hot position.
Cube hot.
Cube hot position. Yeah.
Snowy had that in its terminology?
Snowy had this in his terminology. Yeah.
Really? I don't remember that. Where was it? It was in their dice distribution or cube hot?
I don't remember exactly the interface, but the term sticks to me. This is a cube hot position.
Wow.
You don't want to roll without thinking.
I know you won't see that term in XG anywhere. There is a dice map that shows the heat map in dice distribution, showing how hot or cold a position is. That may be what you're referring to. That's probably it. And if it's red, a dark red, it means it's pretty much cube full or cube hot. So maybe it's a term people applied to that chart. I like it though. I'm going to use that.
So that is a very good sequence for Jürgen.
But the race is a real critical factor here. Isn't Jürgen losing this race?
Jürgen loses this race, but I don't know by how much.
It seems like if he's losing the race, he should have stayed back on the 4, though.
Yeah, at least it's a. I mean, one of the candidates would have been to just make 2 inner board points
Yeah.
and making great inner board points and ending up with a better board. So,
I would have been more inclined to come out to the bar if my opponent was on the midpoint
yeah.
to block the sixes away. And this, I just didn't like that play unless I'm off on this race. I think Jurgen's losing the race. I think I would have stayed back. What's going on now?
So let's figure it out how much he's losing this race.
Well, that's
This
what
is,
Timur's thinking of right
9,
now. He's actually thinking
11,
of doubling.
9, 11, 10. Maybe he's losing it by 49 pips. Is this possible? That's
Yeah.
my count.
Well, then why the hell, heck, darn shucks, is he coming out? I'm trying really hard not to swear.
Oh, well, it would be interesting to ask him now because we can't look in his head.
Yeah, if he'd stay back, I'm not even sure Timur would consider the cube. And now he's up that much in the race and it's easier to bring home.
So one thing I can assure you, Orlovsky always has thoughts about his move. You know, he sure has a thought. He just not randomly moves checkers. He has thoughts, but I don't know what was his thought here. Yeah.
Well, they took very quickly. He must have known before he made that move that if he was doubled, he was taking.
Yeah.
Because part of every move you make, if there's possible cube action, you need to consider that.
Well, right now there's only 2 market losers, double 6 and double 5, who break the contract from the 16. And
Oh, I don't know, double three,
you're right, double 3. Okay, 3
double
numbers. Yeah.
three. So there weren't enough market losers, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
But the score, it pushed the cube too. I guarantee you that was part of it.
Yeah. Part of the taking is, of course, he's not losing gammons here.
Oh, I don't question the take one bit. And I do question the cube, but I also question the play. And I also question where
Yeah.
am I sitting and what is life about?
Yeah.
Why are we here?
There can be never too much questions.
You're right.
Yeah.
There's no bad questions. There's
Yeah,
only
only
bad,
stupid answers.
Stupid answers, right.
Yeah.
No stupid questions.
And we're here for the stupid answers.
You can give stupid answers. Yeah, this is not an easy one to bring home. I'm not sure that was a cube.
No, but back to our joking about questions and answers. Very often, if you ask the right questions, you get the best answers. Finding the good questions is a task in backgammon. So is in life, I guess. Yeah.
Very good. Very philosophically correct, in my opinion. And there is a correlation between philosophy and backgammon.
And Chris tells us that coming out was a blunder, in fact.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you,
So
Chris.
once you made me look silly, and the other time in fact, you didn't make me look silly. Once you just said I was wrong, and now you're saying I was right. I like this. And if I hit 50%, that's about as good as I do when I flip a coin.
John Barnes asked if he did miscount. I don't think he did miscount. I think Jürgen will never miscount area. He had probably different thoughts, you know, like maybe the fear of getting primed, or the outfield battle, or keeping his spares where he wants them by bringing now everybody out, not leaving blots. I don't know what were his thoughts exactly, but I'm sure he didn't miscount it. Yeah.
I'm not sure I don't break the midpoint here. I like this play. I
way
like having
better.
one blot.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like having one blot my inner board.
Also, you want
Right
to have
now.
a compact position
Yes.
because you're
Yeah.
looking for shots and you want to be prepared. The shot could come anytime. If you have too many blots in your board, you know, you could volunteer a shot and it might be very often right.
Yeah, I think he came up with the right play by far.
Yeah.
I was thinking about coming off the midpoint, but that still leaves you two blots in your inner board. So this 5-2, look, he is volunteering, which I wouldn't do. If you're up that much in the race, I'd play it all inside or I'd break the 8 point.
So what Timur sees, there are reversing trends. Yeah,
Wow.
and reversing trends is actually.
Oh, he paid dearly for that volunteer.
Oh, that's
This is going to
horrible,
be
yeah.
too good to double. Now,
Oh my God,
he's
this
gonna
is too
roll
good
on.
now. Yeah.
there's not that many gammons, but there's hardly
Oh,
any way
my
to lose
God.
here. There's no,
Yeah.
what do you call market gainer?
Yeah.
What sequence on the next roll would Timur have a take? That's why you roll.
Poor Timur.
Well, I think he brought it on himself. I thought the volunteer was wrong.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he needs to get maximum punishment.
By the way,
right?
I lift the blot in cash now.
First of all, I understand I understand why he wanted to.
This play is exactly what I would do. I want to focus on this right now.
Yeah.
I would lift the blot because I'm going to cash. Why leave another 2-5 or 1-6? Because the gammons aren't going to be that many anyway. And when you're winning 6-0, winning 1 point or 2 points is pretty good.
Plus, he has many builders to make the point naturally.
He's not going to make it there. He's going to double them out. You watch.
I think this is a technical play on.
You still think it's a play on?
It's a technical play on. Let's see if he enters. If he doesn't enter, it's a technical play on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's going to enter 20 out of 36 times.
Yeah. Now.
You lift. The reason you lift is to double. Watch this. Watch it.
yeah,
Watch
of course.
this.
Yeah.
Watch that cube.
Yeah.
Watch it move.
Okay, I watch it.
You watch that cube move.
I watch it cube move.
He's thinking about not cubing because he heard me and he wants to make me look bad.
No, he's just taking his prime and his time. And also, Orlovsky, I know this is his personal style. He really enjoys when he's on the trigger. Yeah. So he takes a long time, when nobody else can move to pull the trigger. Yeah.
He likes attention.
He likes attention.
He's getting
Yeah,
attention.
Very good.
Okay.
Good psychological analysis. Yeah.
There is the cube.
Yeah, but
I called this one. Come on, give me credit for that.
you got all the credit for
All
it.
right, now you can't possibly take. It's closer to too good than it is to a take. Just give it up. I really hated that volunteer.
And I also don't like it when your opponent stands up.
Yeah, I think that's rude. That's
it's-
distracting.
To me, I think the same. Actually.
Yeah, I think it's distracting.
I wish he wouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, I would just.
While the other person
I would
is
just,
thinking.
in a very nice way, tell him to get his ass back in the seat and I'd slap him. In a nice way.
I know, with the slapping. Yeah.
Yeah,
Slapping in
it'd be a nice
way,
slap.
yeah,
It would
yeah.
be a friendly slap.
No, I know it's more and more common in other games, like in poker, but
There is no rule against this, but
There's-
there is a
right, yeah.
rule about being distracting your opponent and good sportsmanship. And if I were the monitor right now, I would say something. I would say, no, this is not proper. But if it bothered Timur, he would say something, and I guarantee you, Jurgen would apologize and sit down. He's a gentleman. He's a nice guy.
yeah, Jürgen is a very nice guy.
He's very nice. Both,
I
they're
would
both
never,
very nice guys.
I would never say anything if I was in Timur's spots, but I think it's appropriate. Yeah.
I thought I had a really fun interview with Timur last night after he beat you. He said, I got to point out one thing. The very first match, as a favor, I borrowed your baffle box and I lost. And I gave it back to you and I haven't lost a match since. I never want to see that baffle box again. You guys got a sense of humor. I
Yeah,
love
he
that.
has. Timo is a very, very nice guy.
He is. I really like
he's
him.
very helpful. He worked as a volunteer also for the Sochi Olympics. Yeah.
Oh, how nice.
Um,
Volunteering was a mega blunder, Chris Bray. He agrees with me again.
yeah.
I just saw no reason for it. Why give him the 4?
Well, I want to give you a reason to bring you his thought process nearer, not to justify the move, but
Okay.
to bring it. When reversing trend starts, you should think about volunteering. Yeah, but it were just too many shots. It were not 11 shots. It were like 17 shots, and 17 shots are just too many. Yeah.
Change the score, please. I get nervous when they don't change the score. And that's part of why John is there.
Yeah.
Ah,
John will help them. What I'm happy that finally Orlovsky sits down again. Yeah.
they're arguing about whether he lost a 2 or a 4 cube. Maybe that's a good little
Maybe it's about where they should place the cube.
Yeah, when you're using a baffle box, placement of the cube does get a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
But change the score.
I think it should happen between the clock and
Yeah.
the scorecard.
By the way, everybody
score.
should have their own scorecard, and I can see in front of him, Jurgen does have that, just to make sure, because the scorecard isn't always right.
Yeah, they're playing with a referee, and I don't think it's a
But
problem.
yeah, it's a problem. They haven't changed the score. I'm getting nervous.
But they haven't started also.
By the way, we're on the first floor. We're on the basement floor. They're on the third floor. There we go. There's the arrow to the score.
And there's another thing, by the way, Timo pointed it to Jürgen, but it's both of their score, so it's as well Timo's duty as Jürgen's duty to make the scorecard correct, you know?
Yeah, and it's both
not
their
like-
duty to make sure the clock is correct.
Yeah.
If one guy's side is running and it shouldn't be, it's both players' faults, not just the one whose side was running. Chris Bray said it was a take because of the score. I'm shocked. I am shocked. I thought it was closer to too good than a take.
Yeah, and maybe it doesn't help to have a pre-opinion, you know? Maybe it is very, very important to put all the factors together. You can only make a decision once, you know, when you play a match.
But that was my after opinion. I really, how that could be a take, even with the score.
All right, but you also spend a lot of time in thinking in it, yeah? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that it's a take. I am absolutely shocked that was a take. I'd love to play that out as a prop, like we used to in the old days.
Yeah, but then you have to prop it with the score. And
Of
this will
course.
be a very long prop because you have to finish the match afterwards.
Yeah, so here I would prop it by putting it into XG, and they already did that, obviously. It's the bet. Gosh, and that would be the first bet I've lost. Nope, second one today. I already lost a bet earlier with Mike Svobodny.
That was a very hard beat for Timo, a very, very hard beat.
Well,
and,
again, that volunteer, we just,
and certainly this is a double now, yeah.
oh yeah.
Certainly this is a double now.
Especially when you're losing 8-0.
Yeah,
Come on, give that cube. And in fact, I would pass it.
I would pass it too.
Yeah, he was waiting for the clock to get punched. Position, race, and threats, I see nothing. And nothing that helps Jurgen take this cube. And the score is a very big factor, too. This is a very nice lead.
Yeah,
Don't throw it away with a possible gammon position.
Jürgen has 20 minutes on his clock and he will think about every cube now.
I don't see how he can come up with a take here.
Not with the score probably, but if the score wasn't involved or different, it's not so hard to see the take here, because so far it's only a 4 prime. White has all the checkers are active, nothing is killed. Yeah, has a good distribution to make a new point. It's
Okay.
very hard for Timo to blitz,
Well,
and
you're gonna
Orlovsky
agree with
finds
me.
a take here. Finds a take here.
Well, here's a cover. Very quickly, I cover from the 13. There you go. It's a good roll. Two and 9 were two very good rolls, even though 9 leaves the shot. I would not have taken this. I would have dropped this very quickly.
I don't like to support the idea of doing anything quickly in such an important match,
Okay.
but I tend towards the pass 2. I was actually a little bit surprised.
6 down, and do you split or not? I like the split because of the 2 checkers on the 8 point, but you could get blitzed.
Okay. What were you referring to? To go out with the 6?
No,
or?
no, split with the 6. 24-23. come down with the 6 and 24-23
24, 23.
with the 1. He had a 6-1.
No, he had a 6-2.
Oh, I thought he had a 6-1.
He couldn't do anything
Oh, I
else.
thought he had a
no,
6-1.
No, he had a 6-2.
Then
Yeah.
I still would have split.
Quickly.
That's why you do it quick, yeah. Before he catches it.
Yeah, so the priming position transposed into a blitzing position, very often that's the case. And even more after Jürgen managed to escape with 1 checker.
And at this score, if I'm losing 8-0, I'm thinking about trying to win more gammons. I'm playing more gammon go than I normally would.
Absolutely the right thought. Absolutely the right thought.
And here's out and hit. And hit. I consider this a forced play.
Another great prediction.
Well, I think that's just forced.
Yeah,
You can't just let him out with a 6 and you got no other 6 then coming out.
so Jürgen has a 3, and there's nothing else to think about.
But this is a very, very big role for Jürgen.
Yeah, a huge role.
This is
yeah.
huge
Yeah,
unless, well, he's performed by coming in and then coming up, or I don't know what you do here. I know you don't hit.
Well, you do hit.
You do?
Yeah, you have the stronger board
Oh.
and there are blots around. Of course you hit.
you
Or for
can.
what you're waiting, you're getting attacked
You're right,
otherwise.
you're
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. You're so happy. Look at what happened, That was a God-given hit.
No, I thought he had, I
No,
thought he had
fantastic.
I thought he had a 3 to play.
Yeah. It's 6-5 now. And it's, as you would say, forced by logic, right?
Sure, make the 2 point.
Make the 2 point quickly. But don't
See,
use the 6 for
The
it.
advantage of doing things quickly is if you're wrong, you can say, oh, I didn't see that.
So
Oh,
you factor excuses
Oh,
into
yeah,
a good
right,
play,
right.
into the move. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I always have a good excuse. I'll never forget the first time I played my good friend Paul Franks when he moved to Vegas and he made a horrible play online. He said the sun was in his eyes. I'd never heard anybody use that excuse in backgammon before.
You know it from tennis. Huh?
Yeah, yeah. The sun was in baseball too. He goes, oh, the sun was in my eyes. That's why I missed it. He was playing in his backyard in Vegas with my favorite backgammon excuse ever. I have an excuse. I'm just stupid. This is not an easy play.
It looks like giving up the bar point anchor,
Yeah.
having a double shot and having less blots and keeping double 6s as a pointing number and
So you come off with both checkers.
for all the good reasons. Yeah,
I come off with both checkers.
yeah,
I
come
like
off
that.
with both checkers.
Yeah. It's you're still leaving 3 blots on the board, which is not fun if he rolls a 2 something.
Yeah, and especially after
when he doesn't roll a 2, it's
he
great.
he lost every single game so far.
Yeah.
So he is a little bit shy of leaving jokers to Jürgen.
Yeah. Well, and he lost one game strictly because he volunteered too much when he
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have. So maybe he's a little shy to volunteer now. This is a good roll. Brings things around. He doesn't have to worry about misplaying it. He's got to come down. There's nothing else.
There's really nothing else.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Come down. Ooh, there is something else. Volunteer again.
No.
Oh my God.
oh.
my God. Now he's volunteering 3 shots. 2, 6,
that's
2,
a
5,
statement. That's a
2,
little.
2, 2, 1.
This is a statement. This is
Wow.
a statement.
He's proving to the world that he's not afraid to volunteer.
Yeah. But it
paid
really
off.
paid off,
It paid off.
to get this checker. But if he was so after the checker, he should have considered the 4-5, and he would have gotten a double shot on that, So if his plan was hitting that checker, he should question his 4-5.
But hitting that checker is not that important in this position compared to just winning. And I think he had the gammon much of the time anyway. It certainly didn't hurt to get the checker, though.
Yeah, I think
Certainly
it's
didn't.
very important to get this
Yeah,
checker.
I guess you do.
actually.
You do increase your gammons quite a
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, you're right. The 4 or 5 was the place to make that play. And if you don't hit here, you're not playing backgammon.
Right, because 100 number, it's only double five which doesn't hit. 4, 5 hits.
Make the
Yeah,
point.
everything else hits.
Make the point.
Yeah, well,
Make the
now
point.
he enjoys, you know.
Okay.
Let him enjoy it a little bit. I mean, he had to watch it all the time. He had to watch.
Slow it in such
Yeah, I mean, he spent half the match on the bar, so now
He did that for enjoyment purposes.
I don't want to say that, but
Oh, I don't like this. Come closer. I don't like this at all.
I agree, and probably he's looking for a super safe play,
Yeah.
but this is
You get gun shy, like
now
you said, when you lose every
exactly.
game.
Yeah, you get gun shy. Yeah. So, but once again, the 5-2 was well played. 6-5 is forced. And if he's not leaving a shot and Orlovsky is not hitting, this is looks like a gammon.
Which means we're going to have a little better match. Uh-oh. Nope, that's not a shot. But it could be now.
Oh, this is a very
he needs
valuable
a one.
dance.
He needs a 1. Uh-oh. He needs a 3. Swing and a miss.
It's the first game in this final. Jürgen is not winning. And it looks also, it's a gammon win for Timur.
Well, he wasn't winning the game where Timur Oh, you mean he didn't win? Okay.
Yeah. Can Orlovsky save the gammon in the next 2 rolls? I don't think so. He has too many crossovers, and he will realize too and stop the clock. Yeah. In
Okay.
general, a good advice is roll on when you're not sure. It's a prior of counting, you know. It's no merit in figuring these out. Just roll and see how it ends. But when it's clear, you also don't have to continue rolling. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all seen people stop when they could have won, or give up the gammon when they could have gotten off. They didn't realize that double 5 would get them off or something. So unless you're 100% sure, roll the dice.
And again, we spoke also about this opening 4-1 yesterday. This is one of the rare moves.
4-3.
4-3, right?
Yeah.
With which has changed in the opening. When I started to play backgammon, 4-3 was like 24-20 and 13-10, and then a couple of years later, with the first bots, like 24-21 was called the better move, and 13-9. And nowadays, we usually, if there's not a specialty score is involved, we go both down from the 13. Yeah.
Yeah, I go both down from the 13 at normal scores, a gammon go, but a gammon save and DMP, I'm splitting.
So science is going on, and still first moves sometimes change with better
Yeah.
rollouts and better knowledge.
Yep. Somebody said, well, there's not going to be any more changes, that's it. And I remind them about a true quote. The head of the U.S. Patent Department in 1905 said they should close the patent department because everything important has already been invented. In 1905, this is a true
In
quote.
1905.
1905. Before the internet, computers, cell phones, airplanes. I love that quote, though.
So what's happening here? Timur is again a little favorite, at least before the roll, and now 6-5. It's about even this game. It's about even this game, I would say. He's really aiming for the guy on the 14.
Well, making the bar, you lose your midpoint, you're stripping.
I would prefer hitting than making the bar, actually, because you're not priming one checker. You're always, one checker wants to be hit, multiple checkers wants to be primed. Priming one checker is a lot of effort.
I don't think I make either play. I come out. I come out with the front checker.
With the front checker, so you move to the 16,
Yes.
23-16?
Yes.
That's interesting.
I don't like the hit either.
That's
But
interesting.
the hit might be right because you have them outboarded 3-2. That's always a factor. If you have your opponent outboarded, and they do say you should hit a block.
This is also a good move. This is at least
No,
one of the candidates.
No,
at
no,
least
no,
one of the
no.
candidates.
The problem with that move is I didn't see it.
Okay, sorry.
That's the problem.
Now you see it. How do you like it?
I like it.
Yeah.
I was focusing on the hit or the run, and over the board I would have seen it. I promise you.
Yeah. So this is the human thought process, and there are multiple choices. Is the first thing you do, you narrow it down to 2, and then you make your choice. Yeah, eliminating what is not the best candidates. Yeah.
And by the way, Dirk Schiemann has come up with a Dirk's Law, which I really like. Let's say you get between 2 moves and you're not sure which to do. He came up with a really good approach. Ask yourself, which one of those 2 moves is most likely to be a blunder? Let's assume, just for a second, that one of those 2 is a blunder. Which one? Don't make that move. And it has actually helped me several times to find a better move. And sometimes, of course, the third move is right, but at least I really think that the Dirk's Law is a good addition to the other great laws we have, like Woolsey's Law and O'Hagan's Law and Cole's Law.
Coleslaw. That's my favorite law.
Coleslaw, yeah. If you're going to have coleslaw, eat good one. Good coleslaw.
Yeah.
Anybody transcribing? Not right now, but it will be eventually transcribed and posted and analyzed. Probably Alex Estrigan will probably do a video on
Timo
it.
really has a comeback now if Orlovsky dances.
Yes. Ooh, that's a good roll.
Yeah, that is a good rule.
Very good
Yeah.
roll. 2s, 4s, and 6s hit. He's got a 4-point board versus a 2-point board. He's losing in the match. I'm doubling.
And the hits on the 4 and the 6 has a different quality than the hits on the 2.
I don't care. I'm doubling.
So
And I'm taking.
really, the hits on the 2 are very strong, or hitting with a point is very strong. These are 13 numbers.
It's the cube it's the score that's pushing me to.
You have your opponent outboarded. You're shooting at him. You're down in the race. You're down in the score. So a lot of factors speak for action here.
I think it's a double take.
Timo takes his time. He has more than 20 minutes on the clock. This time Orlovsky is not standing up,
There he
but
goes.
munching
He is
something.
doubling.
Yeah.
It's correct. You're supposed to put it on the right side of the board.
Yeah.
And it's not a take when you touch the cube. It's a take when you say take or move it over and put it on your side or both.
Yeah.
You should do both. I like this cube action very much. I think they're both right. And a 6-1, I agree with the hit as opposed to the point. And
most constructive is probably to go in the 22.
I agree.
Also, you could actually, it's less shots when you move it from 17 to 18. Like, there's no additional shot now when you move it. Otherwise, you have a 5-3, but the 5-2 is already in the 2s.
Oh, you mean from the 8 to the 7?
Right, yeah.
8 to the 7.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. This could be something, but I don't think it's essential. Probably it's better to go 22.
That's my play.
Yeah. If you,
I'd rather have a 6 to cover than a 5 to cover. That's what I focus on.
mhm.
5-1 comes in and cleans up the blot.
Yeah, it's actually a very good roll again.
Yes, very good that he came in at all. 3s and 1s hit, 6-2 hits.
Yeah, I think he must hit.
You think it's going to be double tiger?
This looks like a double tiger. I mean, he can win a game if Orlovsky dances, and he can lose a game if he doesn't hit.
It's scary to do a double tiger, but I'm with you. It's scarier to let him go. Oh no. Oh no, you're giving Jürgen the
Initiative.
The initiative. You're giving him control of the car.
Yeah,
of the
well,
train.
he's looking at this.
Yeah.
Timo, you're doing a good job looking at all the
Yeah,
plays.
now do that. He did a double hit.
Yeah, they both have plenty of time.
Yeah.
yeah. They
He
both
did
have plenty
He
of
did
time.
a double hit in a previous match that I really liked, so
Yeah,
I thought he would see it.
This is Tiger time.
And it did not work, but this would not have been a good roll if he didn't double hit. It would have been a good run for Jurgen anyway. It was just not a good roll. He has to come in with a 2. Nope. This is not going well for Timur. But certainly not over. Chris Bray, perfect double, taking and passing of the same equity. So it's just right at, that's a borderline. And I like Jurgen's guts taking borderline cubes when you're winning. Most people drop way too much. He's not afraid. I guess this is right. Ace point's just too ugly.
Yeah, and also, once again, he's playing against, he's holding many checkers, so he tends more to prime than to blitz.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got a great priming position. Sure. Very
It's
good.
a very solid position. It helps him to bring the game home. Yeah.
Yeah. He's holding the cube. He can play a little safer because he can double them out when he wants to, I think.
Yeah. So sending a 4 cube to a trailer, you must really consider it that it's a strong 4 cube. But it is a very strong position. Timur really needs a 2 to link up because he needs something to run out. I guess pip-wise it's not so horrible, but he actually fears running when he's not running with the backman.
All right, what about the cube action now?
He would fear
Obviously,
if he had
Jurgen's
run
thinking
to-
about doubling. And your first question is, would my opponent take? I think at this score he would. I think that Timur would take this 4 cube. So then you look at market losers.
Simon said he wouldn't have considered hitting, and I would have hit. I would
Yeah,
have hit,
I
and
would
I
have
think,
too.
and at least you should have considered.
Okay, but what about right now? Let's talk about what we see on the board. Jurgen is thinking about cubing. I don't think he should double.
So Jürgen has a great reputation of having high cubes in matches.
Really?
He has like I know no other player who is so keen on having 8 cubes in his matches like Jürgen, and it's very often that he is right with the high cubes. But very often I thought I think it's unnecessary. Oh, double tiger was a blunder. Okay, good to know. What was the right play, Chris?
Obviously, cover the 2, and
Really?
it has to be. It's the only other play.
So it was
it
the
go.
anchor and the deep.
Yeah, make the deep point for later.
This is probably just because you can still hit. Yeah, you can still hit. It's not a come out. Yes, and I was pleased I didn't consider it.
Now you know why.
I still think
now
you
you
should.
know why Toby and I are sitting here instead of there.
Yeah, well, I'm not in the final.
Well, those two guys are sitting there, and we're sitting here.
Yeah.
We would have both double hit. I would have done it too.
Well, I'm a social person, you know. If you're inclined to do something, I'm more inclined to do it either. But I thought you win a lot of gammons also if this works well. You outboarded your opponent.
That damn book of Michis with the double tiger, the term is so cool. Oh, again, this cube is not something I'm sure I would have given either. But he's got guts, and he got a pass. So clearly it was a great cube. Wow. It was a quick pass. Well, he had lots of time to think about it while Jurgen was thinking about the cube.
This is true. And this is what you should do. Always use the time of your opponent to get more insights about the position.
Yeah. In fact, a couple of my students have asked me, how do you count pips so fast? I said, I didn't count them that fast. While you were thinking on the last play is when I was counting the pips.
Yeah, and I had enough time for that. Huh?
Yeah, but that's when I'm counting pips, or that's when I'm considering the cube as well. It's your turn. Let you pay for it with your clock.
So this is an aggressive opening. This is a Michi opening. This is an opening you use with a 5-4
Gammon
when you're
go.
playing for gammons,
Gammon
right?
go.
Yeah.
And I would play a gammon go when the score is 10-4. Again, we haven't seen the XG feed, but I'll bet you Jurgen's PR is incredibly low in this score, this match. He's not just lucky to be winning 10-4. He's cubing and playing very well.
Yeah, one thing about the PR also, I mean, when you have great rolls, it's easier to play a low PR.
And it was a double pass according to XG, according to Simon. Thank you.
Is it still blinking?
Yeah, no, not too bad.
It's all good.
Not too bad. I thought that was me blinking. Came in on the 1 quickly. It might be right to come in on the 2, but then where's your 1? You make that, I don't like this, but I don't see much else.
Yeah,
I might come in on the 1 and come down with the 2.
it's a little bit of pre-freezing, and it's.
Yeah. I think I come in with the 1.
I'm not sure. I think I like Jürgen's move.
Okay. He's thinking if he read Mochi's book, his opponent might blitz him after he makes a 3-point. So make an anchor instead of keeping him split. I would have had him split. Boy, the more I watch Jürgen this entire tournament, the more I like his game.
Yeah,
He deserves to be here. He's a very
absolutely.
fine player.
Absolutely. Jürgen is absolutely top player.
And not to take anything away from Timur, I just don't see the sharpness in his game that I see in Jürgen's game.
Yeah, but it's also easier to look confident and good when the roles cooperate. Yeah, and you have a different way of looking on the position. You know, when you feel featured by the roles.
I'm not just talking about this match, though. I've seen 2 or 3 other matches of Jürgen this tournament, and of course, in other tournaments too. He seems to make a lot of tournaments. Very active player. I see him in Monte Carlo all the time too.
No, actually, that's wrong.
Really?
He really doesn't like Monte Carlo.
Oh,
Um,
maybe I saw him in Dubai then.
yes, you saw him in Dubai. You usually see him where there's a high edit, and you also see him at tournaments where traveling costs are low and hotel costs are low. Yeah.
Gotcha. It's not easy to make money as a tournament player, but if you're a really, really good player and you do what Toby just said, watch where the money's added, watch where it's economical to go and stay, you can eke out a living, and while you're doing something that you love. I'm eking out a living doing something that I love, but it's not by winning tournaments. It's by doing what I'm doing today and teaching and doing a lot of seminars and private clubs.
Oh, Mr. B is in the chat. Hi. Hello to Kuwait.
Who's Mr. B?
Oh, you know him. He's a great guy.
Which one is he?
It's him. Yeah. Mark Dixon
Oh, Mark
identified
Dixon.
him. I
Oh.
didn't know him by the nick, but I know Mr. B. Yeah.
There's also a Mrs. B. Okay, we have an aggressive cube, which is, this is not that aggressive.
No.
This is a big cube.
Yeah.
This is a big pass. Very gammonish position. Losing winning 10-4.
Before you do predictions, you have to understand that Jürgen is a taker, as you saw before.
Oh my God, he should be surprised me. But this is not a take. Come on. Come on. Bet you Bucky passes this one.
I don't challenge you.
Okay.
Not at that one.
There's no question.
But Jürgen starts to use more and more time. It feels like a minute ago he had 20 minutes on the clock, and now he has only 12. What happened to the time?
That's what I ask every day.
What happened to the time?
Yeah, I'm going to be 79 soon, and I'm wondering what happened to the time. How did that happen? I played tennis this morning. I feel like a kid. I look in the mirror. I see a 12-year-old. What happened to the time? He took it. Oh my goodness! It's just.
Well, you can see he has a lot of good positioned points.
Yeah, it might be a take, but this score, in a very gammonish game, I was past this. Wow, I can't wait to see what XG said.
Yeah, don't forget,
I'm sure
Jürgen
I'm
still
wrong.
has
Yeah.
to.
You're so good.
Jürgen still has to make 7 points. How he's gonna make these points? And it's sometimes whenever he turns the cube, he might see a 4 cube. Whenever he gets the cube, yeah, he can control the level better.
Wow. I was dropping that cube. I was betting he would too. Two on the bar is better by far. I don't like this, but I do like coming down off the mid. I like this play.
Yeah,
It covers the 4 point as well if he comes in with a 4.
yeah.
Well, comes in with a 2, proving it's a take. Don't you have to hit?
Well, you could also make the bar point, the opponent's bar point. You don't really need to blitz. I mean, even if he anchors, you know what? Then he has no timing. He can't hold his
Yeah.
anchor. So,
But if you're playing gammon go and you're way behind,
well, you get a lot of gammons with a 1-2 back game. Yeah, with a very bad timing, especially. Yeah.
Jacques, who is commenting here with Phil? This is Mochi sitting next to me. He just has a funny German accent. Tobias Hellwig, my good friend, my roommate, my old good friend, and the great player who took number 3rd in the tournament. Tobias. Taking is a triple blunder. Thank you, Mr. Bray. I got one right, and Jürgen went a little too far this time. Chris, I'm so happy you're running these. I appreciate it. Even the 1 or 2 times I'm wrong, or 3 or 4 times. Tripper blunder. Wow. Even the greats make them. Mochi's quiz, for those who missed it earlier, he had eight positions that he had blundered. That was his quiz. How many people who are number 1 in the world are willing to go around the world showing their blunders? He's not worried about his ego and his reputation. He's confident enough that everybody knows and that he knows who he is. He's willing to admit that even he makes big blunders. I've known a lot of top players in a lot of different games and sports that are not that gracious. This is why Mochi is my number 1 pick on the Giant list every year. There's no good play here.
That's a valuable insight. So you think he just shouldn't?
No, I think he should just
spend
not
too much
play.
time, yeah.
Let the clock run out. Just say, I'm sorry, this is disgusting. I can't do anything.
Yeah, yeah. So Right. I mean, how much time you want to sacrifice for that move?
You're right. They're all disgusting. They're all horrible. I wouldn't use too much time. Plus, I don't want to suffer this long. Hit and in for the builder. I like it coming in. That's not too deep. Bring it in.
So, for example, if you bring it to the 14, here's like 3 more covers. Yeah, 18, 14 would be
Yeah.
3 more covers. Bringing it to the
Oh.
bar, he would get less hit.
Oh, look at this joker.
Yeah.
I
So
don't-
there
I don't-
have been options. It actually was more necessary for Timo to think on that role than it was for Jürgen to think on the role previously.
Uh-huh. But this isn't as much of a joker as I thought, not with those two blots on the ace and deuce.
Yeah. To avoid, for example, there was a play to avoid double twos, which would have been like 22 to 18.
But again, I wouldn't be worried about avoiding
No,
double
you
twos.
don't. No, you're right. You
This
don't
is
need.
not-
This
you know-
is not a position you need to be.
Right.
No, you need to be worried.
Yeah. There wasn't a roll that really killed me. I would rather, I think double one is the only roll that would have
Right.
really helped.
You're not.
Really help Jürgen.
You're not worried about losing, but you're worried about maximizing your gammons, yeah, or maybe maximizing also your backgammons. They are there. They are only little, but they are there.
You think backgammon's way before I do. I think about it towards the end of the game, but you actually do. It's part of your thought process. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm learning something.
Mm-hmm.
That backgammon thought, I think backgammon at 1 away, 3 away Crawford. That's about the only time I think backgammon's.
Yeah, like with 4 men on the ace and 1 in the air and more men to get, there's absolutely backgammons are on the radar.
It's backgammon hot.
It's backgammon, exactly. Yeah,
It's backgammon hot.
It's a really good term to see the game from.
Yeah, I like it.
Backgammon hot positions, cube hot positions. Yeah, you're in an area, getting into the zone of something. Yeah.
Toby, I've known you now, what, 15, 20 years? You always impress me with something new every time
Thank
we're
you.
together.
It's exactly 12 years.
12 years?
Yeah, 12 and a half.
When you came to Chicago?
Exactly.
Boy, did we have fun.
A lot.
lot of Been great Chouettes then too, every single day.
Yeah.
That was the place to be. I feel sorry for people who love backgammon, who live in tiny towns where there's just no action.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry.
And by
for
the
those
way, this is a special thing about this tournament, and I want to shout it out. A lot of people come from small backgammon places, and like when you come here and you see like 500 backgammon players in a room, yeah. Sadly, this year it's more like 400, yeah. But like last year it has been like 600, yeah. This is, this is like heaven, It's like heaven
Yeah.
to see. You're not alone, there's such a community, there's such a gathering place, yeah. And let's have a big shout out for Arda, who created all that here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Arda is one of the, if not the premier tournament director in the world. We have a few others that go around and do. There's a lot of great tournament directors who run
Yes.
one tournament.
I feel it's unfair to compare, but
Yeah.
he really did a lot for this game.
Yes, absolutely. And look what he's done for Turkey. He and Fuat, I give credit to Fuat also in Turkey. Between the two of them, Turkey has become a huge mecca for backgammon.
Yeah.
And it's because of their organizational skills and their tournaments.
It's a very good term, Mecca of
Yeah,
backgammon.
and they've converted people from tavla. There was a lot of tavla going on, but that's a different game. And they converted these people, taught them how to use the cube.
Yeah, and since you mentioned Fuad, there's another big tournament just coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
More
so-
than 200 players already registered.
Yeah, right here in Cyprus. I wish I could stay for it. I have to get to New York. I've got some lectures and actually 2 club lectures and a bunch of lessons tied up in New York over a period of 4 days. Then I go back to Florida. And then back to New York for the New York Open and some other stuff. Okay, this is a backgammon possibility. He wants to wait and get the crash, and he's gonna get it.
Yeah, but the primary thing he wants to see is that Jürgen has to leave with a 6 and not with 1-6. Yeah, so
Do you hit or not? I still think you hit.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't hit actually. I
Really?
wouldn't hit.
I hit.
I would not hit.
I hit.
I would go to the 15 and just cover the outfield and wait for the bad sixes. Yeah?
But
I
he's
don't
favored
wanna,
to come in with 20 times. You're gonna get more backgammons with the hit.
I'm not sure if you get more backgammons with hit. I think you get more backgammons with not hitting.
Really?
Yes.
Well, somebody just agreed with you. Timur, that's a really good insight. I would have hit.
Yeah.
And he would have danced.
But
course, that
first
will
of all,
find-
Jürgen's 4s are really bad and Jürgen's 6s are really bad, you know. And if you hit the 6s and 4s, he doesn't have to play them, or most of them, yeah.
Well, he'd have to play the 4s. Oh, no,
No.
if he comes in with a 1 or 2,
Yeah, with
Yeah, you're right,
1-4,
you're right.
2-4, but...
yeah, you're right. Anything but a 1 or 2,
yeah.
he doesn't have to play him. You're right.
Yeah.
I see
And
the
it's still
value.
the concept hasn't changed. The concept hasn't changed, right? Our 1-6 is by far the best 6 he could roll. Yeah,
It's actually a very good roll.
very good roll.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And being missed is good.
Oh, wow, and this is actually very bad.
Well,
He can't hit him.
well, it
This
is
really
bad.
hurts his
It's very
result.
bad.
Yeah.
So you stack.
That's equity down.
I think you just, or maybe you don't worry about getting hit. Maybe you bring him in and just get hit. That's, I'm not sure. I like this play. He's saying, okay, hit me. He's gonna go without hitting.
Yeah. Looks like they're clearing down the place here. A lot of noise outside, but it stopped again.
Yeah. Oh. 6-4, yeah.
Yeah, but for Timo, not for Jürgen.
Okay.
The O would be if Jürgen had to leave
Yeah.
the anchor.
I turned my head.
Yeah. Now he has
Oh,
to.
now I can say,
yeah,
oh.
yeah. And now you want to hit loose and you want to get hit back because you want to take them all up.
Well, he has no choice but to
Yeah,
hit loose,
exactly. Yeah.
whether he wanted to or not.
But if he had a choice, I tell you, yeah, you're right. There's the online backgammon, yeah, and there's like Terje is one of the big providers of online backgammon. With Backgammon Hero,
Yep.
you heard about that platform, yeah?
No, of course, I've played
Yeah.
on it. Backgammon Heroes and Backgammon Galaxy have done a tremendous amount for improving and increasing backgammon popularity.
Yeah, and awareness and putting the community
By the way,
together.
Michael Niego mentioned he doesn't have much action in Toronto. Why don't you go to Flint, Michigan, a tiny little town in the middle of nowhere in Michigan, and there's tremendous backgammon action. So why is that? Because one person, Carol Cole, organized regular tournaments, kept it going, advertised it locally, got people to play, and people like Frank Talbot, Joe Sylvester, Ben Friesen, a whole bunch of other really good players have come out of that club.
Dmitry Obukov, wasn't he also part of that club?
Who?
Dmitry Obukov?
Oh, yeah, Dimitri.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's one of the key figures in
Absolutely.
BMAB.
Absolutely. So what it really takes is Michael Niego, don't complain, quit your job at the bank and start a backgammon club and promote it. In fact, you probably don't even have to quit your job. But what one person can do is just amazing. And Flint, Michigan is the classic example of that. And Carol Cole. Of course, how many people are like Carol Cole with her energy and her warmth and kindness? Everybody loves this woman.
Warmth, kindness, dedication. Yeah, these
Absolutely.
are the ingredients.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it takes.
Yeah.
But it takes it takes some local promotion. And look what's happening down in San Diego. There wasn't much going on there till Michael Pines and Frank Frigo's they've got it advertised everywhere. They got people coming. You get a free lesson when you show up. You don't have to pay hardly anything if you're a newcomer. They buy you dinner. And they're really growing. I think they had 50-something people at one of their weekly tournaments. Just take some promotion. Bill Davis did it for years in Chicago.
So
And-
it looks like Jürgen is about to save the gammon, which is a tremendous job when you consider he had 4 guys on the ace,
Yeah.
a crunching position plus a guy in the air at one point. Yeah,
You were talking backgammons.
yeah, exactly. And
Did Timur do anything wrong? I don't think that.
technically, I think he can still win the race. Actually,
Yeah.
Jürgen.
He should have hit that last checker. That's where it went wrong.
Yeah.
I still think he should have hit it. I would like to have another checker back right now.
It all would have been different, yeah. But the key was probably the 6-1, yeah. When
Yep.
he
Yeah.
could freeze his checker
Absolutely.
without leaving the
The
anchor.
6-1 followed by the miss.
Yeah. Oh, this was
But
also
it
big,
ain't
yeah.
over yet. The fat lady ain't singing yet. Still gammons here. Oh, that's a great roll. Pick up your dice, hit the clock. There's no other play. You're not going to waste pips.
Yeah, so if Timo is not rolling another set,
He can still do it without rolling, if he doesn't roll a 1. It's going to be hard now.
yeah, it's only 2-1 or a set for Timo. Either a set for Timo or Orlovsky or 2-1. Only 2-1. This is clearly not 2-1. 17 pips more. And it's 6-10, but 6-10 is not that bad. 6-10 is not that. He's only 4 points away. This is reaching distance, going for another break. Good advice. Yeah. Keep fresh. It's an important match. Yeah.
Okay, they are taking the break, and again, I think Jurgen took a loose cube, and it looks like XG agreed. By the way, I forgot to mention a really great promoter in the United States, Patrick Gibson. He really grew the game tremendously in LA, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some other local people.
Yeah, we haven't called them all.
You haven't called them all,
for sure.
and I'll tell you, you really want to talk about how to grow backgammon. Look at Denmark. I mean, every bar had a club, and it still does. There's a tournament every day in Denmark, I'm told. So it just takes people getting out there, exposing the game, because when people see the game and learn how to play it, they love it. It's the best game there is. There's nothing that comes close, and I know because I played them all. Except I haven't played Go yet. It's too hard for me. Shogi I haven't played either. I understand Michi's a decent shogi player, and Mochi's a decent shogi player, and my good friend David Rockwell plays Othello, shogi, and Go, as well as a very good game of backgammon and chess. He's a man for all games. Okay, let's take a little break here. I'm going to rest my voice for so I can shout at people later.
Yeah.
Tonight, there's a celebration at 9:30 at night, giving out the awards. And the celebrations that they do at these tournaments, we never do anything like this in the United States. I've never seen anything close to the way Arda and Fuat and some of these European tournaments, they make it into a huge party with music and drinks, and there's having champagne and beer
Yeah,
and
and
hors d'oeuvres, and it's really done right. They really make the winners feel like they have really accomplished something glorious. In the States, they hand you a trophy and a check and say goodbye. You know, nothing against it. It's just it's so such a positive and friendly atmosphere here, and everybody's clapping and screaming and patting the winners on the back, and and there's dancing often. Often they play music and dancing. By the way, we do that in Jamaica too. The Jamaica tournaments they have a big celebration at the end, and they thank all the sponsors, and they have lots of good sponsors, and really let people feel happy, and we really celebrate our winners. So I'm not going to miss that.
Okay, let's have a break. We are back in 5 minutes. Thank you, everybody.
The Coke? Can I get you a Coke?
I press this to make it mute.
I don't know. Let Mente take care of that. Well, I'm sorry to say we missed a lot of action when we had a frozen internet
Screen.
here. Look at, we've already got cube action, we've got a very advanced position here, and we've got a very strong position for Timur. I think I'm going to play to the 10 point just to have it 6 directly shooting at the open 4 point. I would play strong here.
There's a 6-2 to play for Timur. You could also consider to play a guy to the 7 and 18-16. The guy on the 7 is like a direct, with double 3 you directly make the 4 point, which you can't do otherwise. And it's no benefit to stay on the opponent's bar because this is a hard to clear position.
Yeah,
So-
I would, right now, I would have had a checker 6 away shooting at that checker on the 4 point,
Yeah.
and I would have switched anyway.
Fantastic rolls, easy to play.
It's what we call forced by logic again.
Yeah.
There was no other play. Oh, 6 is so big, and double 6 is incredible. 1, 2, 3, and remake. Wow, that was the joker of the match, I think, so far. You want to talk about a roll that swings equity? I can't think of anything that's happened so far as big as this equity swing. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why. I guess to get a spare on the 7, but
There's another interesting factor in this game. I think Orlovsky is already down to 5 minutes, yeah? And he could get well into time trouble if Timur managed to win a couple of games, and this will be a longer match.
so there's the reason why he left the checker back. He gets another shot now, as opposed to coming out. And I would have made the other play.
Yeah, this has a downside. If he's not hitting, he's also under trouble, but
He escapes.
he escapes, yeah.
I don't know what the luck factor has been, but certainly it has favored Jurgen,
Yeah.
which is usually true of when one player is ahead of the other.
One, and then probably pre-clearing the midpoint.
I'm not sure. I might just bring one in.
So
That's my play.
Timur is way faster. If he managed to escape the back check and the next roll, he has to worry about clearing the midpoint. So a pre-clearing would make some sense.
I don't think you hit because of the board strength. I like this play.
Yeah, I agree. There's a good board
Ooh,
coverage
ooh,
from
this
the
is-
16 point.
This is too risque.
Yeah, on the other hand, I mean, you see the 14 shots, but he's not a favorite to have them. Yeah, there's 22 misses. You have to look at those. And if he's not hitting, there's 20 rolls that walk out. Yeah.
Are you?
So it's not such a
clear, huh?
yeah, such a clear thing. You have to put different outcomes on the scale. Yeah.
I think there's too many gammons when you get hit.
right, if it would be just about winning, hitting seems to be clear. Yeah, if it would be DMP, you wouldn't hesitate to hit.
But
Yeah.
it's not DMP.
It is not. No, you're right with that. But how many games are there real now? Yeah.
17.3.
Wow.
He knows me enough to laugh. Some people don't laugh when I say stuff like that.
Yeah. Like the joke with the guy who's the fastest calculator, but gets all the numbers wrong. He said, "I said only I'm fast, not that I'm right." Yeah.
Well, in the Paul McGrill Memorial, I was the commentator and the master of ceremony. I talked about how I knew 4 people who could multiply 2 6-digit numbers in their head. Paul was one of them, Jake Jacobs, Art Benjamin, and me. The difference is they got the right answer.
So, and actually, we saw something in the sequence. He walked out, and I think I haven't seen the roll because I was paying attention to you.
Yeah?
I thought he wouldn't have been able to walk out if you would have hit him with a 3.
Just the hit was just too risky, especially when you're ahead.
I don't see that there were so many gammons, but I see that there are more wins. So it's a measurement process. One thing for sure, we see a tendency that maybe Orlovsky got a little bit more careful now. Timur is now, it's not Timur's double 3.
Yeah, and Orlovsky's losing the race, so that's why he's staying back.
Yeah.
I think he'd bring it in and just move off the 6. Hope you get a shot right now. There's a lot of shot-leaving numbers. All 6s and 5s, unless they're doubles. 4-3 saves them. I think Timur's learned not to volunteer after that horrible volunteer fiasco earlier.
2-6, he's getting a shot now.
Do you cover or come closer?
I like this because he's still down in the match and he's giving bad numbers to Timur. Yeah, see.
Down in the game, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And basically the answer is given in the sequence. Yeah,
You're right.
the answer is given in the sequence. He's losing the match, the race anyhow. So his.
Oh, big roll. The luck continues to favor Jürgen.
Let's see how much time he's going to burn on this double aces.
Yeah. Well, if he comes around double 6s is bad, but I don't think there's a way to avoid it.
Right.
That's the way to save time.
Yeah.
There's a time saver. Call the
This is a
cube.
way of
Call the
saving
cube.
time, yeah. It might be technically a little bit incorrect. I'm not sure.
How many gammons are there? 5%?
Yeah, this might say
Plus-
maybe a little bit more.
Plus, when you're short of time, I love this play. I love that cube.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way to stop the clock.
Jürgen is down to 3 minutes now on his time bank. He still has to make 5 points, but it could last way longer
Oh, yeah.
if Timur gets a little streak now.
This could easily go 8 more games, 9 more games. Another big roll for Jürgen. He really climbed out of that game. Boy, that double 6 joker from the bar. And then he gets the shot first and hits it. The luck factor was just huge on his side. I remember saying these exact words in a match where Chris Rogers was just getting killed. He ended up being 1 away, 11 away. Crawford, 3.5% chance to win the match, and you know the rest of the story. He won it.
I think this wasn't the right technique with the double 4, going for the 9 point.
Again, you're going to see a little bit more like speed gammon. You can even see in his arm motion how quickly he picks up the dice and rolls, how quickly he moves his hands. He knows he's under time pressure. And he really did take a long time and some stuff in the first couple of games that both Toby and I were a little surprised he was taking that long.
Yeah.
But you weren't surprised, you know his style. I was surprised.
And I gave him a lot of feedback about his style, but he's not so much interested in my feedback.
Interested in your feedback?
Yeah.
That's why you're sitting here. I love what you have to say about just about everything. I wasn't sure what your taste in music the other night when I was trying to get to sleep, but he turns on some disgusting music, goes into the bathroom and leaves his phone playing while he's in the bathroom, and I have to listen to that. But I got even with him later in the middle of the night.
Too many insights. So, thank you, Chris. Chris figured the position, and he said hitting was correct. Yeah, hitting on the end of the prime is a very natural concept of enlarging your prime and preventing your opponent from jumping. Yeah, and it just applied in this position as well. Yeah.
Slotting the back of the prime, hitting the front of the prime.
Yeah.
Thematic. Look how quickly the motions are of Jürgen now. He can feel the time pressure.
But that's another thing, you know. It was Jürgen who didn't hit, but he won the game anyhow. So that's another thing most people understand. A mistake only costs you equity, never the game, or almost never the game. It just costs you equity.
Oh, I
you
hate
know?
that saying. I hate
You're
that
winning
saying.
a little bit less, you know, or you're winning a little bit more when there's a change in the equity. But it's not like you're rated to lose or you should lose because of that play, you know.
I disagree. I hate that concept completely. If you're losing equity in the long run, you're going to lose more games. Maybe you won't in the short run, but my thinking is you've got to make the right equity plays
No,
to come out ahead.
No, Phil, you got me wrong. I absolutely agree with this. That's easy to agree, you know. But I mean, you shouldn't lose a particular game just because you lost a little bit of equity, you know. Yeah.
I think we'll save this debate for later because I still think we disagree.
Okay.
I think you are going to lose more particular games if you lose equity. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
The short term proves nothing.
I mean,
yes, it won't always.
Very,
Look, you can often win with a really bad play. That doesn't say it's okay to do it. That's my point. All right, what's going on here? This is a very nasty little double two. Well, you make the ace point, don't you? What else is there?
my saying is, you know, when you go from 86 to 85%, you know, you still have 85%.
Oh.
You understand? You gave up 1% in equity, but you're 85% favorite.
Right, you're talking about a very small mistake. You're right.
Yeah,
Small
but even
mistake.
if it's like even if you would go from like 85 to 75, it's a huge mistake. Yeah, but you still have 75% of wins. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right, and it has no practical value. It'll teach you the wrong lesson there. I really disagree with you.
It has a very practical value. I'm not doubting that. You know, I mean.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. I just don't like it.
I just don't like people getting moral, you know. I mean, he should lose because he made that move, you know. This is what I want to get people away from. Yeah?
No, but I want to see people punished for bad moves and rewarded for good moves.
That will happen anyhow. That will happen anyhow.
Okay.
You know, this is that's just the game is constructed.
I also feel sorry for the guy that is getting unlucky. I'm rooting against the guy who's so lucky. I'm not rooting against Jürgen for any personal reason. I'd like to see Timur get some better rolls, just because it's fairer, you know. But life isn't fair. This is one of the things you learn in backgammon too. Sometimes in life you get a whole bunch of bad rolls, a whole bunch of bad breaks. You're going to an important meeting and the bus breaks down and it rains and you get all wet and you look like crap, and that's what happens. Everything goes wrong some days. You have to learn to live with it, and that happens in backgammon too. Happened to you last night. You played very well last night, and you lost.
That's a very interesting decision. The 6-5. He could jump out. This is a falcon position. Yeah.
Falcon?
Falcon, double falcon.
Oh,
he could leave
falcon.
he could leave the anchor.
Yeah.
And he's not setting it up. He's not looking at it closely. What is the race?
Well, but I wouldn't either because your opponent is brittle. Look at your opponent's rolls. He's got temps. He's got too many points. So if it wasn't the case, I would very much consider that.
Well, but now the opponent does what you should have done, and
I'm not saying he should have. I'm not sure he should have because again, white was stripped everywhere.
But just agree with me that it's a consideration.
Oh, absolutely!
You know?
I totally agree with you.
And if you start to considering something,
Absolutely.
you have to first get the factors you need to make this decision. One of the factors is the pip count. If you're faster, you're more inclined to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Another factor is, for example, blot in the opponent's board. This is like the safe versus board criteria.
You're right.
There was a so. The opportunity is not coming too often, you know. It was only 6-5 to jump the direct threats.
And now he's sorry he didn't, to your point. Now he's going to be very sorry he didn't.
Yeah, it may.
If he'd have gotten away with it, if he wouldn't have gotten hit.
It's not that I'm 100% sure of the play. I'm just saying, this is a consideration here. Yeah.
Never argue with not considering something.
That's good.
Never argue with that.
Yeah.
I just didn't think jumping out was
Yeah.
right at that moment, though.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with thoughts. That's what you want to say, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've had some pretty bad thoughts in my life, but I'm certainly glad they didn't come out, but way too often they did. That's why I'm in trouble sometimes. My mother used to say, I only open my mouth to change feet. I like this play. I like keeping the outside point. This is pretty obvious. No, is he really going to do that?
Well, again, he's at least he is considering, yeah.
Yeah.
And now, by the way, he burned another minute.
Yeah, he took a lot of time on some technical plays, like you said, at the early part of the game. That's his style. So he has to be used to playing speed, Gavin, and he's not playing speedy right now. I would not volunteer there. I wouldn't have done that. A lot of hitting covers. What a great play. Kept his board and it pays off.
Yeah.
Do you cover or do you reduce the shots?
We have a saying in Germany: it's easy to stink when your trousers are full. It means when you have all the luck, it's easy to look genius.
Yeah. But what do you do here with the one?
I cover. Of course, I cover.
Of course,
I cover.
You're giving him one more shot,
Yeah.
and no good play goes unrewarded. And again, the luck factor is still leaning in one direction in this match.
Mm-hmm.
And Jürgen may have a double soon, not too quickly because of the score. It may be a roll or two.
Well, so far after the hit, it's a technical play on as long as the opponent spends time on the bar. Yeah.
And as long as you don't give him double fives or any other five something.
Yeah. This is a technical play on. It doesn't mean, we pointed out before, that he's winning so many gammons, but it means he can fairly often end the game with cubing even after red entered.
In the interest of time, I like this double. He just saved some time on the clock, which is another reason.
And it might be right. If it's a technical play on, it's only small.
And I think you're hoping your opponent will take here.
So what is it?
I believe it's a pass even at this score.
20.
And I would want him to take if I were Jürgen. He passed. Okay. Jürgen's luck. He's hit every major shot. He's had all the big jokers, I think.
Yeah, I think he was more than 30 pips down in the race. Yeah.
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 He had to roll a 5 and hit. It's just too much to ask for. 4 away, 11 away. We're back to total gammon go, gammon save play as far as I'm concerned, which means if I am Timur, I come down with the 3-4 on the opening roll. I come down with 2-3. I slot with 4-1, 5-1, 2-1, 6-4. I make the 2 point. Those are all gammon go plays, and all the opposite if I'm Jürgen.
Well, not all opposite, because Jürgen has a 4 away score, so his gammons are also very active. Yeah. And for him, receiving a cube is also very pleasant, because if he receives the cube, he will never face a 4 cube. So there are a lot of switches, and you need a lot of knowledge to find the right adjustments for the position. But you want to keep different concepts in your mind when it's about. But the cube action anyhow is way harder for Jürgen than for Timur. This is clear.
Yeah, I got you. But the opening plays, that's what I would focus on before, because it's the next thing that's going to happen, is how am I going to play my opening rolls? I think about that at the beginning of every game. Cube action is right also. To keep in mind the four-away score is one of the best scores to be when you're winning, to be four-away, so that a cube and a gammon wins you the match.
I wasn't sure that hitting is right. Could have done also an outfield point. This is very decisive miss.
This is,
Here, there's no cube action now, but it's very, very ugly. It's
Yeah.
very, very ugly not to be able to do anything, you know? To be in such a situation and see the momentum losing on the opponent.
yeah. If the score was reversed, this would be double pass.
And Jürgen enjoys so much that he burns another couple of seconds here.
Yeah. And he's blitzing. He is blitzing, and I can see why with all those blots around the board.
Right. He wants to prevent his opponent from entering to have time to pick up the rest. And this time there is a reason to hit behind the anchor, to start points behind the anchor. But now it didn't work. It really didn't work. Now it's Timur's momentum. Wow,
We
Timur.
finally saw Timur get. I was feeling sorry that Timur wasn't getting any rolls. It just
And
swung.
this is interesting. Should he make the point or should he hit? He can't do both.
I hit. Put
I
a
am not
second checker
sure.
up.
I
hit.
am not sure.
I'm gammon go-ish, so I'm hitting here.
Wow, this is a really interesting position here.
I agree.
Really interesting
My
position.
last play is, I would have played up to the 4-point from the back, not give up my midpoint.
Okay, he's bringing all his logistics frontward.
Right. It's a little early on the double, I think. I like the thought process.
I think so too. I think so too. But it's now I'm just thrilled as a watcher to see what's happening. You
Yeah.
know.
But we
It's
know,
not- I'm less analytic now. You know, I just enjoy the movement and the atmosphere.
but we know Jürgen's a taker. That's another reason not to double right now.
Yeah, very good point. Very, very good point.
It's too soon.
Yeah, he's not only a taker; he's also a eater.
Yeah, every time he reaches for there, I think he's reaching for the cube. He's
Yeah.
reaching for fruit.
I feel sometimes I lose kilos in a
Right.
match. You know,
Make
but
the 2-point
I think
or
he's
make the
going
1-point. Which one do you make?
point with hit with a point. Yeah, hit with a point must
That-
be the
yeah,
answer.
that was the only one you could hit and point.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Okay.
Keeping the momentum.
I'm not sure you don't double now.
I agree with you, and I'm not even sure what should.
Well, again, I like Woolsey's law. If I were my
Yeah,
opponent,
I
if
think
I were
that-
Jürgen, would I take or pass? I'm not positive
I think the
about this.
double is very easy.
Yeah, he didn't double.
I'm not sure what Jürgen should do. This is one of his worst, by the way.
But
Yeah.
he-
He had like a ton of pointing numbers and a ton of hitting numbers. Yeah. A really broad spectrum. A lot of aces were making the 5-point. Yeah. And some twos were making the 4-point, and all the other numbers are constructive anyhow.
No, I don't like this play. I would make the 10-point because it blocks 2 points. The 11-point only secures the 5-point. Make the 10-point, and it stops the 6.
So what's your
This
move?
is- this is my
yeah,
move.
yeah. Okay,
This
I
is
like
my
it.
move.
I see it now. Yeah.
It stops the 4, 6, and the 5.
It also feels like me. It's better field control.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's reaching for more points.
This is right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, what a big sequence. And now, what's going on now?
I don't know why he hasn't doubled already. Now, he might be too late now. In fact, I think he is too late.
Well, we saw Orlovsky taking one, and you mentioned he's a taker.
Oh,
And also
my
he's short of
God.
time, and he snap-taked it.
I would snap drop this.
He snap-take it.
Wow.
But this is another cursed role of Timur. Huh? This is almost. I mean, I don't take a side, and Orlovsky is a friend, but I mean, it's horrible to watch Timur's rolls.
Yep, that's what I was saying earlier. I'm not rooting for Timur, but I'm rooting for fairness.
Well, fairness is given anyhow, you know. They both have the same before the roll, but just the outcome of his rolls is so bad.
Well, actually, I like coming up here. I like getting off the 23 point. With the, and then the 3, I would just simply put in the 8 point.
Yeah, for example, if he enters with a 5 and he would make the 8 point, you don't
play's
want to
good.
be stuck on the 23.
I like this
yeah,
play too.
yeah.
This play's fine.
At least the 3 was also,
Yeah.
or maybe the 2. At least one of them.
Yeah.
Maybe both.
Well, this is nothing very particularly productive for Jürgen either.
Yeah, but he was certainly the winner of the sequence.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
certainly the winner of the sequence. This goes to the 11, I guess.
Yeah, there's no hit, so you just go around. Six, 2. That's important for stopping the gammons to make the butterfly
Yeah.
point.
This is actually a good roll.
Yes, making that 2 is
I
big.
would say, 6-4 was medium positive, and 6-2 was way more positive. So this sequence goes again to Jürgen.
Yeah. I don't see a good play here other than what he's doing.
Looks like a great take right now.
That's 2 cubes in a row that I would have passed as the leader that Jürgen took. I'd like to have him in my chouette.
I think you could convince him.
That's an insult.
I think you could convince him.
I had to think about that for just a second. Wow, now I know what you mean. He'd love to be in my chouette, is what you're saying. Make the 5 point and then figure it out.
Well, first of all, a Schwed
Oh.
you love to be in is a good Schwed, yeah.
Sure. Make the 5 point because it's the 5 point. There you go. There you go. This play, I think, is forced. The other play was leaving a checker back, making the 5
Yeah.
and the 9. I would have made the 5
I'm
and
not
the
sure.
9.
And actually, Timur has 6 minutes. He could spend a little bit more time. I think it's a decisive move. For 1, yeah. The good news is for Timur, he gained on winning percentage. The bad news is it's almost no gammons. It's almost no gammons.
Yeah, with that 2 that Jürgen rolled and to make the butterfly point, that was a very, very big thing at this score. When you reduce the gammons at this score, losing 2 points instead of 1 is not that horrible. The 4 points is what would get him back in the game. Match play is so much more interesting than money play, so much more intricate.
Jürgen gets more contact by moving this or staying back. This is his question. But how to answer this? Staying back is usually more contact, but now Timur could also make the 4 point. 5-3 is another bad roll.
Yeah,
He has to play from the 10 to the 2.
Yeah,
Huh?
I think so too. There's a good roll. He's not coming out because he's losing the race. I like this play.
I liked actually to make the bar point because there could be a shot any time, and if you hit it, you don't want to be with 2 blots. Yeah, the bar point is a serious point.
It's almost as good as a 7 point.
Yeah, almost.
There are some shot leaving numbers now, so taking Toby's advice, he makes the bar point, just in case. A lot of sixes are not comfortable. Oh, that's a very nice roll. Now, I think I clear the six.
Yeah.
I don't see enough gammons here. I would have cleared the six.
We had this yesterday in the match with Moji, and very often, you know, on the 3-point anchor, you want to clear the 6-point as early as possible.
Right, and there were some gammons there,
Yeah.
and Mochi still cleared from the top, and I wouldn't have done it. And you said about, you called it right.
Yeah.
Mochi cleared, in this kind of a game, you clear the top from the top.
But of course, here's a little bit more of score involved, and having 6 men on the deuce is also not what he is aiming for, but still.
That's clear, I think
But
this is
still.
clearly right.
Yeah.
There's a saying, against the 2-point, you peel much more aggressively, but that's not true against the 3-point or 1-point.
Mm-hmm.
If you take one off, where are your threes? They're still good. Yeah, I would take one off
Yeah.
and go to the ace,
No, if you take one off, you go to the 2.
and go to the 2, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid to do this. You've got 2s, 1s, 3, you got everything plays. And you get a checker off. Yep, everything plays. He's figuring it out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in a sequence, there could be bad numbers, but right away there are none. So
The alternative is 2 to the ace or 1 to the ace and 1 to the 2. Why not get a checker off? See, now you have some bad rolls right away also.
2 bad numbers. It's 5-6 and 6-5. On the other hand of the spectrum, you have like 2-1 as
double
a joker,
one.
but 2-1 does less than 6-5 hurts you.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's a good way to compare it, yeah.
Yeah.
How bad do the bad rolls hurt you and how good do the good rolls help you, and compare
Yeah.
the 2.
mhm.
Wow. That's McGrill's MCV approach, most common variation in weighing the plays that, just the plays that matter, and ignore all the other ones that don't. Uh-oh.
Every decision is a weighing process. This is
Take
why
another checker off. This is right.
Justitia has a scale in her hand, you know?
Well, I'm almost relieved. Not that I'm rooting, but
Yeah.
Jurgen
yeah.
has hit every shot that mattered in the past.
this is empathy, you know. You start to feel for the guy
Yeah,
who
yeah.
is tortured all the time, you know, never gets what.
I wouldn't feel for him if he was playing, if he was losing because he was playing very badly. It's not the case here. I don't think the team was
Yeah.
playing badly at all.
It's just natural empathy, you know. We have seen the luck was very, very one-sided. It's not that we are rooting for a side, but
No, I've watched
it feels
matches.
like
I've watched matches where the trailer is deserved to be the trailer, and I'm not rooting for him.
Yeah.
'Cause he made a bunch of bad a bunch of bad plays. I want him to lose. I want people to be rewarded for better play and punished for worse play.
Yeah, I remember this. You know, when I was a kid, I was always for the underdog. Like with Tom and Jerry, you're always for the mouse, you know. But later on, I remember when Oliver Kahn, the famous goalkeeper from Germany, said, "I'm always for the favorite because they deserve more to win and they worked harder for it." You know.
Oh, interesting. But by the way, with Tom and Jerry, it was the mouse that always won.
yeah, right. Yeah.
He was the underdog. I felt sorry for the cat.
Yeah. On the other hand, you know, the mouse never started it. You know.
That's true. Okay, we have 4 away, 9 away. Certainly not out of the realm of reach for the trailer to win this match. So are they hedging? What's going on? Wonder what's happening here.
Yeah.
I've said this many times, but my very first big finals against Senkiewicz, I called my mentor, my teacher, Perry Gartner, and I said, "Any advice?" He said, "Hedge."
Did you manage to get a hedge with Stankiewicz?
I asked, and he wouldn't hedge, and I won the match, and I outplayed him, but by just a little bit.
Just a little.
And I saw Senkiewicz about a month ago in New York. We were Actually, we were playing together, but we were out in the park during a game where I was playing. He was kibitzing, and we joked about it. He was
Yeah.
very friendly about it. We joked about it. And he said, I said, I was so proud I beat you. He said, hell, you beat me twice. I beat him along the way. It was a double elimination tournament, and I beat him twice in that tournament. And he is still...
I like him a lot.
Oh, he's a hell of a player. He's a genius. And I understand he's a tremendous ping pong player, chess player, bridge player. I mean, this guy's a genius at everything, Senkowitz. And he was the #1 giant at one point. And it was the Michigan tournament. At the time, it was the biggest tournament in the United States. And now it's another tournament called the New York Open that I'm going to. I hope to win that tournament so I can win the 2 biggest tournaments in the United States. It would be something if I can win it. Because
Yeah, you won Novi, right?
I won Novi. That was where I beat Senkowitz. My favorite tournament win ever, though, was Charlotte. Because I beat Carter in the finals. Oh, did that feel good? And naturally, we were playing only for the trophy. Because Carter and I have a long-standing love-hate relationship. Every tournament that we're at, we bet $100 who goes further, but we take 10% of each other. Every tournament. And I did happen to miss one tournament called the Cyprus, the Merit Open at Cyprus, where I would have had 10% of them. I didn't make it that year, and the son of a gun wins it. I think he did it just to spite me.
Yeah, that was the only reason.
Yeah, he beat Travi in the finals. Talk about a win. Wow.
Yeah, I was present at that one.
Yeah. And I think we made Carter pretty happy. Carter, I hope you're still happy. I know you are. He's one of the happier guys I know, even though he's been sick lately. I was with him not too long ago, and he's just has great spirits.
Carter, I'm coming to Los Angeles and I hope to see you there. I'm sure you're in the chat.
Or New York.
Or you listen to it later, you know.
Yeah. Or you're going to come to Los Angeles and New York.
Yes.
They're right near each other. Yeah, right, within 5,000 miles of each other. Actually, I think it's 3,000 miles, isn't it? What's the width of the United States?
It should be like 3,000 miles, 5,000 kilometers, I think. You know.
Okay. Well, kilometers don't count.
Yeah.
They don't. That doesn't count.
Or only in Europe and the rest of the world.
I call them kilometers.
Kilometers.
Kilometers. You call them kilometers. Huh? Okay. We have a more exciting match now. We really, Timur is far from out of this match. He's come from behind before. He's got 9 wins in a row. That's 10 in a row is 1,000 to 1. So if he wins this, it will be 1,000 to 1 odds of winning 10 in a row, assuming 50-50 partners. And the reason I remember this is because we have a 1,000 to 1 club in Chicago, and I think I had 12 wins one time and 10 another, but the record was held by Matt Cohn-Geyer. Mm-hmm. I think he had 19. 23? Okay. I thought it was 19, but I stopped his record. I was the one that beat him and stopped him from continuing the record. It was one of my favorite wins against Matt. And he was just lucky. He was lucky that
yeah, he's just lucky, right?
He was lucky. He was lucky to be at a club where everybody was worse than him.
Yeah. Well, this is basically every club.
It would have been hard to find a club in the United States with anybody better than him at the time.
Yeah. I know when Matt showed up in Tokyo and nobody knew him, and he was advertised from Sam Portal as a new star.
Yeah.
And I thought myself, these new stars, I have them for breakfast, bring him on, And there was a big perm box game in Tokyo going on, and I was like a part of it, but only as a sidekick, There was like Michi and Mochi with great reputation, yeah. But after a couple of games, whenever Matt was in the seat, this is when the real swings happened, So
I could spend.
That's 12 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I could spend the next hour
30.
telling you Matt's stories.
Yeah.
Because when Matt got out of college, he was a chess player, University of Wisconsin. He picked up backgammon, and in 2 years, he became one of the best players in the world. And then he came to Chicago, and we became good friends. He got in the Chouette. I found him a place to live with my son, and my son had a bunch of guys from Burning Man, in sort of like a I would almost call it a commune. That's.
I was there.
You were there.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was a theater play. There was
Rocky Horror Picture
Rocky
Show.
Horror Picture Show. We watched this.
We were
yeah.
there. You and I were there
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
That was so much fun. They performed it while the movie was going on in the back, and Matt's lived there for a while. And it was really fun times. We had a lot of fun times. And I learned so much from him. But here's one of my favorite Matt stories. He's in the Chouette. He hadn't played Chouette very much. I said, Matt, you're making a couple mistakes. Here's what they are. And I had a piece of his action. He had a piece of my action. So he says, thank you. And he corrected it. I said, anything I'm doing wrong? He said, yeah. He says, you're dropping too many cubes. I said, well, what should I do? He said, take more.
Yeah, what a good advice.
Yeah, and you know what? I give that same advice now. You can look at XG and you can find out if you're taking too much or dropping too much, if you're doubling too soon or too late.
Yeah.
And it's very simple to correct it.
Well, actually not, because generalizations, it's just, making you aware of a mistake pattern, but in general, you just don't want to...
Yeah, you want to find out
Take
why
more.
you're.
You wanna find it out, yeah,
why,
yeah,
what types of cubes you're taking too much. So, but still, the
So,
concept is it's the basic approach.
The famous saying is like, when in doubt, figure out, not when in doubt, go for some certain action.
We have a guest
No.
commentator here.
We're cracking up with the Tom and Jerry.
Herb Roman coming to visit. He did commentary with me the other. I just watched Herb play John Rockwell. I saw 4 illegal moves in 3 minutes. It was 2 old farts. They had no idea what they were doing. Herb had a 4 where he's supposed to take a checker off, and it's forced. And instead, he plays it to the ace point, and as a result, Rockwell could have played on for the gammon because Herb forgot to take the checker off, and then Rockwell gets a double
meaningless. He
twos.
couldn't-
Rockwell has a double twos and plays 2 instead of 4.
Anyhow,
It reminds me of the story of the 2 old guys playing golf. One guy says to the other, he hits the ball. He said, "Did you see where it goes? My eyesight's not too good." The guy said, "Yeah, I saw it." He said, "Where did it go?" He says, "I forgot." I was watching Rockwell and Herb play. The blind leading the blind. So you're listening to the commentary where? Are you in the big room?
Yeah, in the big room.
Was it crowded?
Not really.
No,
but-
the people. Still a lot of people playing, huh?
oh, I don't know what the deal is, but
A lot of people are still in the tournament, Herb. There are people who know how to win on Sunday. I still advertise you. I think you're the best player in the world that's never won a big tournament. That's been playing any length of time.
anyhow, yeah, I like the.
But you're having fun with the commentary. I'm glad you're
Oh, yeah.
enjoying it. All right, here we go. We're back live.
All right, I'm leaving.
All right, good luck, Herb.
Just to tell you guys.
We'll see you tonight. See you tonight at the party.
Keep up the good.
Thank you. We'll see you at the party, 9:30. 5 Point versus 5 Point. I call this spy versus spy, but a double 3 is a great roll, and this is the right play. You don't want to strip your 6 point, and you do want to unstack the midpoint. So I like that double 3 play. And coming up is mandatory after your opponent makes the 5 point. I like that slot. It might have been right to slot on the other side. I'm not sure. Usually it's right to go to the 18.
Yeah, I think so too.
I see somebody mentioned Sebastian Wilkinson is a great commentator. I totally agree. I've been playing tennis with Sebastian every morning. I keep asking him to come join me. I think he's fantastic, and he's been too busy. He's playing, he's giving lessons, he's winning too much. That's why he's not a good commentator. He wins too much when he plays, so he's not around. That's not my problem.
Yeah, the
I took
problem.
care of that problem, right. Yeah, Sebastian's great. He's one of the top commentators. I love the way he explains things. And Toby's one of the top too. Here I am. And I got to be with Thomas Tenlin and Mochi and Herb. I've got some real talent with me when I commentate.
Phew. I think so. At some point you have to come out because you have no ammunition. But
And he hits
Yeah,
again. He has not missed many shots.
no,
He has not missed many shots. And I think you said it very well. You're not going to see cubes flying too fast when you're winning 4 away, 9 away. Oh, there's a good hit. Yes. Go, baby, go. And a rehit. There he goes. You don't keep
Still, this
Arlovsky down. He's got 1 minute on the clock.
too bad.
Got 1 minute on the clock. I don't think this is a cube at this score. What do you think?
These positions are difficult for me.
Oh, he is doubling. This guy is not afraid of the cube. I really love Arlovsky's
Well,
vigor.
he has 1 minute left and he needs 4 points. So, and he's standing up again. I don't like it.
Oh, you think the clock is a factor in the cube too? I agree with you. But you think that factors into his mind?
I think it plays some role, you know. I don't know how big of a
Yeah.
factor it is in his
All right,
thinking, but
Are you taking this cube? At this score, I am. He did. I like the take. You got to gamble. I like this play. Only a 2-6 burns you. 2-3, pretty much forced.
the 2 is forced.
I don't slot a second point because you're going to get hit loose here. You're going to get hit loose a lot, so I bring it in.
But if you bring it in, it's also not so nice to play the other numbers. And
Now you're getting pointed on, aren't you? You wouldn't make the 2 point there?
well,
I
it's
guess
a
he's
prime
afraid of-
versus prime
yeah,
position.
yeah.
So
Those two
jumping
blots-
the prime is
Yeah, you're right. And those 2 blots make it easier to not worry about getting hit. I'm hitting. I'm hitting.
he is thinking about double fours now.
Yeah, that is the anti-joker. Oh,
He really likes the ace, by the way. You know, he's not.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
doesn't matter the 2 blots in his board.
this is a great roll.
Yeah.
Great roll.
And now he leaves the anchor. He must leave the anchor.
No, he can
He
come out
must
from the
leave
back.
no, he must leave the anchor.
No, he can come out from the back.
But this way he still has a double 4.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Must leave the anchor to avoid the
Yeah,
double 4.
right.
Okay. You meant he was forced to leave the anchor.
Well,
Forced
by
by
logic,
logic.
I think so. You know, yeah.
Well, he played.
By
he had
a
to
good
play
player's
fast.
logic.
He had to play fast.
Yeah, but usually this is some
This could be the end of the match.
technical. I mean, the better you are, the better your position, the more you're focused on anti-jokers.
I hear you. What can possibly go wrong because everything looks pretty right anyway.
Yes.
I like that. I like that approach. Can you get another builder in the zone? No, so just take the back checker.
Yeah, and again, look that there's nothing really destructive.
You have to hit with a 1, 6, or an 8.
Or
Not a
7
7.
doesn't hit.
No, but you bring another builder in the zone. He did.
And Timo really needs a 3 now.
Oh, huge!
He really needs a 3 now.
It's huge. This could be the end of the match if he doesn't roll a 3. Oh, he cocks a 3.
Only in
He
America.
cocks a 3.
Only in America
No,
that
only
counts.
in Europe. In America, that counts.
Yeah, I said only in America that counts.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Switch. To go to the ace.
See, this is what Chris says. It's not so clear with the take because of the 4-way score.
Uh-huh.
He says it was a big pass, actually. It were too many gammons.
Ah. But people tend to be desperate when they're losing by a lot. and
Yeah, but
make
this is not
mistakes
a
like-
winning attitude, being desperate.
right.
You know, you have to get rid of it for at least one decisive match.
Uh-oh. You talked about double 4s, didn't you? It was-
Well, you did in the match of Kazuki. What did you do to this guy?
Poor Kazuki.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Oops, there it is. Oh, 6-5. That's the end. Double 5 is a hitting number, by the way. Oh, no. Ah.
Double
Oh, this
six.
leaves a shot. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Exactly.
Yeah, it's the right, it was the right
He
spot.
just chose the right spot to.
Oh, I
to
think
have
we're
it
gonna
be.
have a champion. I think we're gonna have a champion right after this game.
He came in with all the numbers.
Yeah.
There is a small chance to save the gammon.
If he saves the gammon, he's not in very good shape anyway, so.
No, but he really wants to save.
Of course he does.
And the double 4.
Oh, boy.
You see this delightful way of moving? I don't like that too much, actually.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's almost like rubbing it in a little bit.
You're right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, play quickly. This match is over. We have a new champion, Jürgen Olowski from Germany.
Yeah.
Are there any other good players in Germany besides him and you? How about Dirk and how about Johannes?
You mean Johannes Levermann? I think he's living in
Oh,
Switzerland.
he's living in Switzerland?
He used to be like giant
And
number
Ralph,
1.
Ralph Jonas?
Rolf Jonas is a great player. Mario Kühl, who is here.
yeah,
Kimon
Mario, wow.
Papadopoulos.
Great
yeah.
match, great.
Markus Reinhardt, who commented with you. Yeah,
Oh,
give,
yes.
give a big hand for Jürgen.
He played well. They both played well. They both played courageously. Yes, technically in XG, I promise you, you will not see the PRs that you may have seen in Monte Carlo, the sub-3 PRs. I'm sure it's going to be more than that because we already know some cube action was way off by both players. But they played great and courageously. And don't just look at this match, the whole tournament to get here, what these guys had to do to get this far. And we have a champion who's worthy. He certainly is a very, very fine player.
One thing, Phil, and it's very important, is another great quote from Tadieu. You know, everybody is worthy. If you are willing to compete, you deserve to win, you know.
They put themselves out there.
Yeah.
That's right.
The outcome, you know, the outcome will happen by probability. But as long as you want to join in the competition, you deserve to win also. Yeah.
I want to thank, make sure we acknowledge Arda, the tournament director and promoter who put this all together, who's done so much for backgammon. Mate, who's been in charge of the streaming. I want to thank Toby so much for not just being my good friend and roommate, but for all the help and the commentary and the insights that he's given. I think I learned one thing, or two things from you, maybe even.
Really?
Maybe
But-
five,
but you
maybe
forgot.
5 or
But you
6.
for- you forgot.
But I had fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the
Yeah.
commentary and enjoyed the matches. And support your tournament director, whoever they are, and your local club people. They're heroes for this game. They're what is making this game grow. And hit the like button, and we'll see you in New York, LA, or wherever you go. Where's the tournament in Austria coming up?
Solange Open, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in 2 weeks.
And thank you all for watching.
Next week in Cyprus. Thank
We'll
you
see
very
you
much.
soon.
It was
Thank
an
you.
honor. It was an honor and pleasure with you.
It was
Phil.
an honor to be here with you also, Toby. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.